We're live, yeah. People, deluded. I'm back again. I'm here with my guy Curtis Shaw of Curtis Shaw TV. What are you saying, man? You know, it's a new start to the week. Football's back. What are you saying?
Bruv, I'm calmer than I was last week, you know. Last Monday I was vexed, bruv, you know. So I'm a little better, you know. England is like a welcome distraction right now, you know. But we know what's coming this weekend, so hopefully better than last time, bro.
You mentioned England. What'd you make of the game, man? Because our young guy Saka come off the bench and played well. Grealish done a madness, you know.
Yeah.
But what do you make of it?
Do you know what? I find it really hard to watch England games, I got to be honest. Outside of like major tournaments, I just like, it doesn't keep me engaged for 90 minutes. But it wasn't a bad game. But when I seen the starting lineup, I'm like, come on, man. Like, this guy's got 7 defensive players. You got man like Sancho on the bench. I'm watching Eric Dyer at centre back. I'm like, come on, I didn't come here for this. You know what I mean?
So, the Arsenal thing. It's like,
yeah, no, man, moving like Arteta, bro. Southgate, yeah, these man, they must have some ploy. Everyone's got to play 5 at the back, bro. I don't know, but yeah, same old England.
Like you said, same old England. For me, it was I was quite annoyed. It was kind of flat. Like I don't think Rice or Henderson necessarily played bad, but like you said, it's just bare tools that I'm not going to be able to unpick the defensive locks. It's like Walker and Trippier seem to be trying to be the most creative in the team. Grealish and Kane tried hard. Beyond that, you know, I don't even think Mount played bad, but it's a chance to play some wingers. There was no outlet. There was no 1v1 specialist per se, and it was very predictable. And yeah, man, next Euros we're pissed, man. What do you make of Saka's performance? Obviously, jumped off the bench, played well.
He done his thing because that's what he is. He is that winger who's going to isolate fullbacks and run at them. And, you know, the boy's just brimming with confidence, man. You know, just thankfully came off at the end of the game. No injury problem. He's on fire, man. For me, I think that left wing spot, he's got to make that his own at Arsenal. I know we know he can play in different positions, but he's just brilliant, man. You know, a lot of wingers now, it's like the left winger plays on the right winger on the left. So to see a left winger on the left is a little... It's like old school, innit? Giggs and, you know, Leroy Sané is probably the modern day version. So, yeah, I like Saka, man. Saka's just, I'm just happy he plays for us, you know, them ones.
I'm happy that everyone's fine because, I mean, Arsenal fans, we have gassed up a number of young players like all fans do, but Saka's actually a madness. And to see how he played in that game off the bench, he played very well against Ireland. You know, I don't want to go as too far to say he's going to the Euros, but if he maintains his feet on the ground, keeps doing what he's doing, he's on that plane, man. And Arsenal, we don't have too many young players that get called up and them things there too tough, or any players for England.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good to see with Saka, man. It's just the value increases every cap he gets, man. So, you know, it's good, man. It's good. But he looks like he's brimming with confidence. And Southgate, I think Southgate likes him. I think as long as he's fit, he'll be on the plane, man.
Because I think not to take anything away from Saka, but he's a good lad, and I think that's one thing Southgate kind of was shook about in relation to Grealish. Like he was looking for every excuse not to bring him up from a footballing perspective. But you know how the sort of guy Grealish is and the sort of guy Southgate is 2 polar opposites. If curfew's 8 p.m, you know Southgate's there at 4:45. Like you know, he's not the guy you want to share a room with, sort of thing. He's not at all.
Yeah, it's for real. Where Grealish is, you know, he's coming back at midnight, drunk, you know, them ones. He's on some gas points.
Like, he's coming up for half an hour before they're meant to meet in the morning, bro.
Yeah, pretending he's, you know, just had a night's sleep. You know, man's been raving all night. But Grealish, man, that guy, serious baller, man.
Hey, what do you make of him, man? Because I saw you did a vid, I did a vid. We know we can't get him, or we couldn't have got him now anyways. What's your feelings on Grealish anyways, and the Arsenal links and all of this business?
Do you know what? And I don't want to sound smart after the fact. Scully, the guy who manages AFTVFC, right? He was head of recruitment for goalkeepers at Aston Villa when Tim Sherwood was the manager, because Scully knows Tim Sherwood. So he was at Villa every day, and I'd heard about Grealish a lot. I knew because I remember Tottenham made an offer for him when they was in the Championship.
And he kind of tried.
He used to tell me all the time, but he said, "Bruv, this guy Grealish, honestly," he said, "you know, he needs his own footballing training because you can't get the ball off him." He said every level he's played at, he's just done the same thing. It's not like it changes when he gets to any different level. And you saw that last night, like man's flicking it over man's heads like you're playing.
That one with the heel, I was like, "No, I'm sorry, I have to take you out." You're out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're on. I know what you're on.
It's a sour thing. If I was playing against Grealish, you just have to want to fight him, because you can't beat him on a footballer perspective. You just have to make him scared. And he's not even like that. He's got the edge, man.
He's mad. He's mad. But you know, I think a lot of big clubs will be kicking themselves, because a year ago, 18 months ago, you might have paid 30 million for him, 40 million. Now you're probably paying 80 million for him.
They were saying 80 in the summer, apparently. So
yeah, so it'll be 100 mil now, you know. So he's a joke. You know, to me, he's like, I put him in that category like Paul Gascoigne. I think Joe Cole was that kind of player, but English football kind of took it out of him, just, you know, made him work hard and defend. They've just got to free him up. Just free him up. Put him on that England team. He's a guy who can make a difference. When you look throughout a lot of the big teams now, there's not a lot of players who can just win you the game. Like Sanchez was that last player at Arsenal. Like, just give him the ball. Even on the halfway line, just give him the ball. He can run past three. Grealish is that, man. He's a joke. Let's be honest, he's too good for Villa.
He's too good for Villa. Dare I say, not because of the prestige of the club at Arsenal. I think he's too big for us in the regards of what we are. Like, if we did put the money down, I think he'd listen. But for me, 25 years of age, being Villa's captain and stuff, I'd go to a club where it's Champions League football. Now that throws up another debate. Who does he go to? Because I mean, United could buy him on a money thing, but it's the same Arsenal thing that applies to them. Would City take a bid? I think he'd be great for Liverpool, bro. He'd be great for everyone, but I think Liverpool's the club for him. But is anyone going to make a move on with 80 million, or is he going to have to force that?
I think he's going to have to force it. I think the problem with Grealish, I always felt like he was a number 10, but he loves playing off the left-hand side. The problem you got, Liverpool got Mane, Man City got Sterling, Man United got Rashford, Son's at Tottenham, you know. Who does he get in left wing in their team? So to me, he probably has to move a little bit more central if he goes to any of them big teams, just because that left-hand side is stacked at all the big clubs, man. But I remember he said that the Emirates was his favourite stadium to play at. I don't know
we don't make no noise at the Emirates. Of course, you love it as an away man coming to the Emirates.
Yeah,
man. Bro, Bear man come here and scored their first goals, but he's very like talked about in relation to Arsenal. He mentions us a lot. Do you remember the FA Cup final where we battered Villa? He actually right, and that's why I feel he'd have to. I think they'd concede. I think if he came to Villa fans would applaud him wherever he goes. He came to Arsenal, sorry, but I think that's why I think he should try and leave to a Champions League club. But one wonders, you have to force that move if you want to leave, surely, and that might damage your relations, because you've probably got to force it and say, listen, lower my price tag so these guys come for me, because the big boys, they've probably got other priorities. If you're gonna, with all due respect to Grealish, if you're gonna spend 100 on him, you might as well inquire and see what what else can be done with them elite other stars. You know, you mentioned a great point about playing him in the 10 role. That's where I see him. That's where I think he'd fit in at Arsenal. Ironically, he'd do well on the left, but I think even for England, can we free him up? Like at Arsenal, if he had the free role, you know, he's a player. He's a bit like Ozil in the sense of not that they're the same, but they play better when they're with better players. Like he'd be a dream, man. Like, do you think there's anyone else out there in the Championship? Because I do think we need to start taking a look at these guys or anything. Has there been anyone else you've been having an eye on in the Championship? You've seen them go somewhere else, just in general, and you're like, oh, Arsenal could have taken a chance on, man. Because the last one for me is Maddison when he's at Norwich.
Yeah, Maddison's a baller. I like Max Aarons. I think he's a good player. I like what's the kid who went to Palace, man? Eze, is it?
Yeah, Eze. Yeah.
He's good, man. I like him. I think the problem is, you know, like 5 or 6 years ago, if you went and bought a talent in the Championship, you get him for 5, 6, 7 mil. You look now, Watkins just went for 30 million, bruv. Like, you ain't getting, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of money. Yeah, Benrahma, 25 mil. There's a lot of money in the Championship. So I think, I've said this before, I think Arsenal are a snobby club. I think a lot of it comes from the fan base as well. You see these players go to clubs and you see them work, and then you go, oh, why didn't we? But if we'd have done it, fans would have moaned. If we bought Robertson from Hull City at left back, fans would have moaned. There you go. Fans would have complained. What are we buying this guy from the Championship for? Blah, blah, blah. When it works, you know, it looks good. So I think we've got to be open to that, because there's players in the Championship who can do bits in the Prem, like the guy saying there, Buendia. Buendia's good. I can't believe no one bought him in the summer, to be honest. I'm really surprised. I think you'd have got him for 20 mil, 25 max. So, as someone saying there in the comments, the English league tax, because I say this all the time. Why do Arsenal always buy from abroad? Like with the Pepe Zaha thing. The problem with Arsenal, when we go to Prem clubs, we buy the rubbish. Like we go to Man United and take Sylvester.
And that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're them free samples. We're buying free samples, man.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? We don't buy the big boy.
Yeah,
so, I think we've got to look, be more open to the type of players we go for, man. But Grealish is one of them players for me that I think if he carries on like this till the summer, I think he's going to force the issue where someone's just got to say, you know what, the guy's so good, we just got to break the bank. Maybe we needed a left back, but we'll wait a year. We got to buy him. Someone's going to have to buy him.
I would love it to be Arsenal, but it's not going to be us. What are you saying for Cantwell? Obviously, he's not quite of the level of Grealish. I think he's probably got the same, not the same level of technical quality, but he's good technically. I think where him and Grealish are different. For me, Grealish has got that X factor, not ability. Ability is there, but he's like, you kick him, he's on it. He's the one telling you, shut up, mate, you're in my back pocket. It's kind of like that. I think you need to be like that. Arsenal need players like that, man, that when the going gets tough, they're on it. And I think Grealish would be that. I'm not sure for Cantwell's personality. On ability, he would more than hack it.
Yeah, Cantwell's good. Cantwell's one of them players, though, for me, I look at and I think the level he's at now, I feel like you could develop someone within to do what he's doing, kind of thing. Like sometimes to me, you can't always buy the next Jack Grealish. Sometimes you've got to create that from within. This is where I've had question marks about the manager at times at Arsenal, because I want to know, what can you do with Joe Willock? What can you do with Emile Smith-Rowe? Do you know what I mean? What can you make of them? These guys have got talent, bro. You know what I mean? You got to understand, like you said, Grealish is 25. He's not a teenager. You know what I mean? So these guys who are 18, 19, they've got time to develop. So Cantwell's all right. If we got him cheap, I would take him. I wouldn't be spending big money on him. I think at the moment, I'm not fully convinced by him, but he is decent. You know, he's a decent player.
Personally, I'll take him for the squad. Right, and like you said, he's not really shown like you're gonna come here, be a starter, be the main guy. But I'll take him for the squad. He's a ball carrier. He's good technically. I think we're lacking. And like you said, I know English tax is there, but you surely can get a deal on him of sorts. You made a good point there about developing, and it made me think about Grealish. He's 25. But he's been around. I know there's a lot of revolutionism around his name. Everybody's screaming him. Everyone knew he's a baller. He's 25. He's been around for a while. Would fans have been able to persist with it? Again, Villa have their own things. They're trying to get promoted. But at Arsenal, because we already have a short patience game to game from some young players. This man's probably been in the first team, maybe like 18, 19, 20 max. Let's call it 5 years. Would we have had that patience? And you also made a great point about developing. That's been my pet peeve. It's like people just look at talent and think, why haven't they got there? We rarely have a plan collectively for a bunch of players and individually. We've been here with Ox, you know, is he a centre mid? Is he a winger? Theo, we've been here. Even Ramsey came towards the end of his career at Arsenal, but there was a bit of to and from. Jack Wilshere, you know, is he deep lying? Is he creative? And I see that with Joe Willock in particular. Like for me, he's a box-to-box man. You know, Arteta knows football more than me, but I don't see Joe Willock being in that 10. I want to know the real plan for Maitland-Niles. We all speculate he's a fullback. Arteta uses him. He speaks of him using him in midfield. But what is he? And Emile Smith-Rowe. And I don't really see it, bro. I really don't. Not yet anyways. And that's a great...
And you know what? I agree with you. And I think the problem now, I think a lot of these players now are suffering from a lack of game time. And what I would have done, because we've got like a group of youngsters there, and it's like, you know, your Willock, Nelson, and Ketia, these guys, I would have loaned them all out. I would have got all of them on loan, try and get them Championship or lower half of the Premier League. They need, every time I watch Joe Willock, it's like I can't make my mind up. I'll watch him for 10 minutes and I'll go, you're winding me up. You keep giving the ball away. And then he'll do a run and I'll go, you know, if you could do that on a consistent basis.
And that's what you do, bro. Consistency. People underestimate that. You can only get that from, I believe, for Joe and the names you said. They need to be somewhere they're genuinely going to play 20, 30 games minimum, real minutes, 60 plus. This 2 minutes and 20 and 90 in the league, I mean, in the League Cup and stuff, you're not going to develop. It's good for us to have these squad options, but that's why I think, not that they don't have to drive, but are these lot forcing the move? Because I think they back themselves, because to me and you, I would have screamed Nelson. I'll keep Nelson, but he should have went out on loan. But you've heard say, yo, he's backed himself, this, that, and the other. Obviously, we're seeing wingers right now not excel. Do you think youngsters at our club really have the drive to go out and say, listen, I really don't care, in a healthy way, I don't care what's happening. I need to do what's best for me and go and get 20, 30. Because you look at Chelsea, way before Mount was there, he was at Vitesse and Derby. Tammy Abraham's been at a couple of clubs, you know, Reece James at Wigan. You know, it's not, that's what I always tell people when they look at our young players, it's not, when I say that we're behind or ahead, it doesn't mean on ability. They're more physically ready because they've been exposed. Ours are coming out of an academy environment. Ours are very technical. They're not necessarily, not even in terms of stature, but the strongest. So do you think we should force it a bit more in terms of loans? Or they should be?
Do you know what? You're bang on because, and someone's saying there, look how Chelsea develop their youngsters. Chelsea have that plan in place that if you're a young player with talent, there is the loan move. You're going to go on loan. You're going to learn men's football. You're going to get physically stronger. You come back to Chelsea, worst case scenario, they sell you for a profit. Best case scenario, you end up in their first team. Right. Simple as that. Where, like you said, where is the planning at Arsenal? We've got a group of players here. Eddie and Nketiah at the moment, right? I've said many times, for me, Eddie is not the level or the answer that I think we need at the moment. But you can't disregard the fact this guy is banging goals in left, right, and centre for the under-21s. There's clearly talent there. But the development is what is needed. You look at the loan move to Leeds. What happened there? After 6 months, they sent him back. You've then got Nelson. He went to Hoffenheim, started off well, then that kind of fell through. It's like there's no real plan with one young player.
While injured, sorry to cut you off, but
there you go. Smith Rowe goes on loan for a season, has a good season, comes back. They're hyping him up. He can't get a kick. I know he's had a few injuries, and now they're saying, we're going to loan him out in January. It's like,
I think he's going on loan in Jan. I want to be wrong because it's selfish, but I think he needs to. You need to go back to the Championship, or you need to go to like a Fulham. He was in a dog race for Huddersfield to stay in the league last year. Go Fulham, go and because the higher league you play, the more questions you answer in it. If he the Championship, the very valid question is, can you do it in the Prem? And then it's, can you do it week in, week out? You mentioned consistency with Joe as well. And that's my one pet peeve in his game, really. At times, he looks a bit lost. And I can't really blame him because shout out to Arteta, he's probably telling him off the field. But on it, it don't really look like there's any leaders. And it just it looks like everybody's told out there to go out there and do whatever they're wanting to do. You know, Saka seems to be getting, I wouldn't say coached, but when Luiz plays and Xhaka plays, he talks quite a lot to them. But it just feels like they're left to their own devices at this club.
Do you know what? I mean, people have spoke about it before, bro, but that comfortable feeling at Arsenal, that's what it just screams out to me with the young players. You get your pro contract, 3 or 4 years, you play the odd game, bit of Europa League. It just looks comfortable. You feel like
YouTube channel, do all them silly games and that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're at Chelsea, you feel like, yo, this is cutthroat. Look at the amount of players that Chelsea have got out on loan. They've got a process. We're going to cherry pick all the best youngsters. They're going on loan all over the world. We bring them back and let's see where you're at. You're getting sold because you're not good enough, but that club likes you. We'll get 10 million for you. We probably paid $1 million for you. Arsenal do not have that planning. Liverpool got 25 million for Ryan Brewster. The guy had hardly kicked a ball for the first team. Most of his hype came from what he did for England at youth level. Eddie Nketiah is the top goal scorer for England under 21s now.
And could we get 25 million genuinely?
No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't. Arsenal wouldn't. If Eddie probably played for Liverpool, they'd probably get 30 million for him. But we probably get
a handshake, man.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
There's another Bulls player on a loan spell or permanent basis, another pensioner from that deal and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand the planning with Arsenal, you know, and I think you can see that with the backroom stuff. It's like Mislintat, we're going to pick the gems. Oh, no, actually, we're not. We're going to leave that. We're going to get Raul Sanelli so we can swim with the sharks and get all the big agents. But the problem is we haven't got the money to swim with them sharks. So when you go to Kia Jarabchin, you can't say, yo, give me your best player, Coutinho, because we can't afford that.
If you ain't got big money.
Your little Cedric, you know what I mean? Them leftovers. So then they get rid of Sanelli and go, oh, actually, we're going to go back to Edu and Arteta. And then Edu, I don't know, is Edu seems to, every time we're linked with a player now, I'm hearing of a Brazilian player. It's like, oh, we need a striker, this Brazilian. And,
or there's some link towards Edu.
All them links again, all them personal connections. Like they're even saying, you know, there's little rumours that Arteta wanted Aouar more than Thomas Partey now, they're saying. And all these things. So, You know, this it's crazy. All the Arsenal need a direction, and this is my point with Arteta. Me as a fan, if we were struggling this season as we're doing at the moment, 4 defeats out of 8, I can have the patience if I see the direction you're trying to go.
Yeah,
the process. Everyone keeps saying,
bring that sentence. That's how I try articulating all my vids. You've done it for me, bro.
Do you know what I mean, bro? We understand that our squad is not that good. We know there are massive weaknesses. We know in the summer a lot of wages are going to get freed up when Ozil, Mustafi, all these guys leave, Socrates. So we know it may take another year to really get to where we need to. The problem is we're all watching at the moment going, what's the plan? What's the plan, bro? The youngsters aren't developing.
The old pensioners aren't delivering.
The pensioners ain't doing nothing for you. You know, and we don't know what the style of football is. You know, I expected Pep Guardiola tiki-taka football, bro.
I didn't even expect that, bro. I just thought
something along them lines.
Yeah, of course, but I just thought building blocks, like you said.
Yeah,
I want to see the process. Maybe even me, and I apologize to my subscribers. I think I was a bit complacent in terms of attacking. That's the one thing that got me. Arteta spoke of how we're not levels right now, but I'm going to move to that. And like we said in our last one, the priority was to pattern up defensively. So I thought it was a given. It's like, you know what, we're dead. We need to try and salvage the league. Defense is priority. When Arteta gets other man, because what you're showing me defensively with the crap tools you have there, when you get better attacking tools, it's going to be wavy. And it's like, since he's been given more players, as much as I like him, he's been more reluctant. And to a degree, as much as I'm not bashing him, but questioning it, like Emre, there has to be something these players that is concerning them. And like you said, with the whole hour thing, you know, it probably was. It just what come down to it. Partey's got a release clause. Aouar hasn't. You know, you have to force the issue if we want to bring Aouar to this club. Partey, 45 million. If Arsenal don't do it, someone else is. And we kind of got lucky in that regards. Both are of importance. Both should have come in. And that's where I'm looking at Edu. Could he have went, all right, cool. You know what? We're going to go with Partey, but I'm going to bring you someone that might not be Aouar, but he's wavy like that, or we can use him. If Arteta now says, you know what? If I cannot have Aouar or nobody, it's Aouar or nobody. That's when we look at Arteta, and we keep saying, you know, you frozen out Ozil, the coaching and the recruitment. I'm not going to say I'm concerned, but I'm concerned for Edu because I don't know his true level of experience. But in terms of recruitment, technical director, I'm seeing someone that I don't necessarily know as the most knowledgeable at this going into it, and he's getting rid of a lot of people, which on one hand is smart, but on the other hand, are you setting yourself up to do more and more failures? When anyone starts a new job, bro, as you know, there's stuff you don't know sort of thing. Yeah. Who is that in the same way Arteta needs that on the football field? Who is that for Edu? And that's what scares me. And I think, you know, because we did so much changes and we have so much to do in terms of moving people on and bringing people in, we left ourselves too much to do, and we ultimately tried to do too much, ultimately doing nothing in this market. With credit to Partey and obviously Gabriel. Sorry, 6 million 007. Me and Curtis apologize. Aouar, Grealish, same price. Who you going for? I love Grealish, but I'm personally going for Aouar. Who you going for, Curtis?
Do you know what? I like Grealish more than Aouar, but I think we need the Aouar more because of the position he plays, that central role in midfield. I think I'd go for Aouar because of what we need. But I love Grealish. You know, I'd love to have Grealish, but yeah, Aouar is what we need.
Facts, man. And like Antonio said, make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you've subscribed to Curtis Shaw TV if you don't know about the guy already. But yeah, man, before I started thinking about that up, man. I cut you off. You were saying something, my guy.
No, so we were just on about Edu. I mean, the problem is you just worry that is he too involved with certain agents? He's worked in Brazil for a long time. So how strong is his knowledge and relationship within the European market? Because, you know, you look at the signings, Cedric Suarez was, you know, Kia Jarabchin. And then you look at Pablo Mari was from Brazil. Thomas Partey was basically one that we couldn't miss. Like, I think that deal was already in place probably before Edu was even around. Like, they were talking about they'd been watching him, for a long time. And again, you look at it. Why did they do the deal on the last day of the window? You know, I actually think, and including myself, I more than put myself in this. I think they covered up a lot of cracks with that deal, and I think they did it late on purpose because if they signed Thomas Partey a month earlier, we would have all had our celebration. We'd have done our streams, and we would have gone, now what? you got 3 weeks left. Where's our? And then we would have finished the window in a negative way because we would have said, yo, forget Partey. You signed him weeks ago. Where's the creative midfielder? With getting Partey on the last day,
makes people forget it.
We forget. We got so hyped up. I don't care. There you go. There you go. So I just hope we don't. I said this yesterday. I done a stream yesterday. I said I hope we don't pollute Thomas Partey. You know, like a clean river only takes a drop of poison to pollute it. You know, we done that to Mesut Ozil. You know, Mesut Ozil was a superstar when he walked in. You know, the man was a superstar, and he got polluted with this rubbish around him.
It's gonna happen.
And I hope that doesn't happen. Partey's come from Saul Nunez and Koke, all these ballers around him. You start putting Xhakas and El Nenis and them, man, you know, no disrespect, all of a sudden.
It gets a bit mad, didn't it? I think he is. I think Partey's been kind of hoodwinked in the sense of I think Arteta's not promised, but given him something. He said, okay, cool, no problems with Arteta. But I think he's come into this team and he's looked at it, he's like, rah, some of you, man, I respect my teammates, but what is wrong with you lot? Because it's like, at Atletico, he wasn't the baller, and they're not necessarily a balling team, but they can pass the ball. They've got technicians, so he's probably looking at it baffled when we're doing things that we could do in 2 touches in 10. You know, skipping. We're not skipping out centre halves. I think he's crying. I think he's crying out for some just hit. Like you can see him crying out for the ball in midfield, and he's getting vexed. To go back to something someone put up there earlier, I put up the comment before I removed it. They mentioned Edu and Brazilian players, and you did the same. That's why I have a concern as well, because, okay, cool. If you're a Brazilian man, I expect you to know about all the Brazilian dons. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, go on for the club. Yeah, we can talk about Gabriel, but I mean, Gabriel's playing in France. It could have just been a thing where, you know, we've done a thing with Pepe's club, Leo, before, so we know how they like to get paid. You know, he's been playing and he's been banging, like fans have been talking about him. And then it's a thing where we've asked Edu for the final check and he's been Brazilian and he's able to call his ex-staff and sanction it, maybe with Martinelli as well. For me, not that you need to be the Brazilian Mislintat, but you should be giving us the scoop. I know there's red tape around work permits and stuff, and I know we got Paulo Marie via these means, but you should be getting us this next striker. We're talking about Aubameyang, he's 31 now. Where's the long-term guy? I know you can say Martinelli. You should be able to. How can we not grab a creative player from Brazil? Come on, that's like saying you can't find a good Italian defender. These things don't make sense.
It's true.
How can you not grab one?
All these Brazilian man in their league, they got flair, they got skill, they can pass, and you telling me you couldn't bring no one in? It was like
one unknown don that you can just bring to us. Scouts do their jobs. If we don't have P's to go toe-to-toe for a Grealish and things, we need to find the English or the South American or wherever before they bang, and we need to take chances. You look at Liverpool. You mentioned a great comment earlier about Arsenal fans and fans in general. They kind of turn up their nose. I remember I've done it as well, so not to say I'm not perfect. There's Calvert-Lewin banging right now. But I remember I cried for Mane because Mane used to destroy us at Southampton. I said, if we don't buy this guy, he's going to be a nightmare for the rest of my life in the Premier League. And he is. Salah, fair play. You know, he was looking a bit booky in Chelsea. He done his thing at Roma. They took chances, bro. We don't take chances on ballers. Like, that's the thing. We like to wait and wait and wait. And by the time they're of that standard, it's a myth sort of. It's like Mahrez, bro, and Kante. The first year them man they done their thing. We should have copped them. Yeah. People are telling me we know Kante since 14. What relevance is that? Because he's in his 20s now and he's not playing his club, so it's not helping, man. Like we don't learn from hindsight and apply better foresight. It draws me out, man.
No, it's true, bro. When you haven't got the financial means to go and cope with City, Man United, Chelsea, they can buy a player at the top of his game because of the finances. We have to take a risk. We have to see a player for a year and go, you know what? Maybe I should wait one more year, but we can't wait one more year because in a year we can't get him. This is what I said about Aouar. I don't think we can get Aouar next summer because I think he's being linked with Real Madrid. PSG were complimenting him. They're all going to have money available next summer. So that
bro, I agree with you, and I 100% agree with that Aouar comment. But just as you said that yesterday, I read a report. You know how obviously he's not been doing the best at Lyon right now. If that persists, whether similar to Upamecano, like I don't know if it's speculation or just poor form. If he has an iffy season, it's not like the last 2 seasons where everybody's ringing his name. He doesn't necessarily go to the Euros. Can we still go for him if he stops on the floor then?
Maybe. That's kind of how, because I actually used to think that with Lacazette. I remember there was a year Wenger made an offer for him and they rejected it. And I was thinking, that's it now. The guy's scoring too many goals next year. He'll go somewhere else. And we got him the year after. So, do you know what? Aouar to me is, I think he's one of them players that Lyon don't look quite the same anymore. So if they do have a quiet year, I noticed he wasn't in the French team the other day either. So it might even come to it where Lyon are offering him to us next summer, but then are they going to think, you know what, we'll go for somebody who's in form? Because a lot of players, you know, teams like to buy players who are in form and doing well. You feel they're going to come in and hit the ground running. Right. If Aouar has a difficult season, maybe they turn away from it. I mean, I think personally that Szoboszlai is he's one I would definitely take a chance on.
Man.
I like him. I'm telling you, when I watch him, for some reason,
you put the hungry game over this international period, innit?
Yo, I'm telling you, I see the guy scoring the winner, like driving through
this decisive moment thing, man.
I'm telling you, and I feel like that man there. Because a lot of players are taking that route now, aren't they? Coming from like Salzburg, and then I think Mane was there, and
and you do up Germany, not Mane, but
Germany, But I like that kid, man. He's younger. I said before, because someone said there, I can't believe he's saying Aouar over Grealish. I'm not saying Aouar is better than Grealish. It's more of a positional thing. But yeah, Szoboszlai for me is the one I would go for, and even the price bracket, it just works, man, for Arsenal.
Trust me, because like you said in the last time we spoke about him, crucially for me, it's because if it goes wrong, obviously it's an L, but we can recoup that 20-odd million that can go again. There's resale value. For me, if he comes to Arsenal, he's going to improve greatly defensively if he's going to come into this system. But it's away from his technical ability. He wants to make the difference. We ain't got too much man like that want to stand up to be counted. I mean, we've got an interesting one here. Chris has said, I hear you, DG, but we took a chance on Pepe. I hear you, and you're right, Chris. We did take a chance on Pepe. But if I spin it now, it was a chance, but was it an educated chance, or was it a means that we had to do? We wanted to, I don't know, because I weren't sitting there, but we tried to go for Zaha. Emre said he wanted him. Emre met him. Clearly, Palace wanted 70 million, probably wanted 50 up front, 20 or whatever, just stuff we couldn't do. Pepe's deal actually isn't 72. Like, I'm not a finance man, but there's a certain upfront fee and the rest are variables. Now, if we're broke as a club and we're on this bright house, Argos finance, we'll pay you later later. Whatever it is. For Pepe. So it is a risk. It is a chance, but it's like we never had peas, bro. Like, do that.
Yeah, no, that's a different, like you said, man, that was the financial issue, man. I think we all know that Zaha, he was more the answer at the time than Nicolas Pepe, man. The Premier League, he knows the league. He was ready to come in. He's an Arsenal fan. How many players at Arsenal can you just give the ball to and they make something happen? You see the picture last night for England where Grealish has got the ball and 4 Belgian players are marking him. Like, do you know what that does for other players in your team?
Oh, the space that other man
just like,
guys are bro,
Grealish is something else.
But don't understand this at all. It's like that's what we need. That's why I'm of the belief now. If we get players with the mentality, Arteta still has to pattern, but these players will be brave enough to fix things themselves. I think it's not that players hide in this club. It's like they're not of the mentality to just go and pattern it. It's not corned beef for dinner sort of thing. They're nice. It's like not to be the nice because it's an outdated statement, but we need guys that are rough around the edges. Like, we're gonna kick back and things like that. We're gonna start getting people. Carrington said something as well on the topic of Szoboszlai. Carrington's reiterated they still want Szoboszlai, but they've said big up Deluded and Curtis. What do you both think about Dele Alli if he was available? Now, for obvious reasons, it's not going to bang. But I like Dele Alli. But let's just say this mad world where we could actually sign Dele Alli from Spurs, I don't think it's the answer because he's not playing well. I think I'd still the same old questions I have about Joe Willock, I have about Dele Alli, but to another level. Like, what are you? You've played on the left, you played behind the striker, you've tried to do the deep lying. What are you? The short-term fix where you were scoring goals and working with Kane was great, but what is he? We've got too many of them players. If he was banging, the Dele Alli of probably 2 years ago, but right now, probably have to pass on that one.
Yeah, Dele, man. I mean, I think he should have been a number 10, to be honest. I think he had that kind of Frank Lampard thing about him, joining late, run beyond the striker. But yeah, Dele, he's regressed massively, man. It's no coincidence that Mourinho wants him out. I don't think he would solve the issue that we've got, to be honest, Dele Alli, man. I don't think the Arsenal fans like him anyway. They ones.
Yeah. But them things there can change quickly.
They can change quick.
Big up yourself, my guy. Starting lineup against Leeds. Big up both of you. Let's get on to Leeds. Let's get on to Leeds. What's your lineup, man? Let's do this guy justice. For me, Leno picks himself in. I'd actually go 3 at the back. I think because I want to see a change. Like obviously passing the ball, trying to score in that. But I just feel, we've had international break. Fair play. A bulk of these players don't get called up, but the bulk of these players, they're not here. And Partey's been injured. Aubameyang's not even been able to play against Gambia or whatever, I believe, because of that madness. We've just done a madness in it. So has he had long enough to coach 4 at the back right now, or get them back into that mode? Because I'm sure you've seen in games. It's like we go 5 at the back and we go to a 4, and it's like man are still operating in the 3 at the back positions. It's they're unsure. So it's like, do I want to go against Leeds with that, changing it up? So I'll go 5. I'll change the mentality in terms of passing the ball and that. Obviously, trying to have more of a chance, but 3 at the back. What? I don't even know what centre halves are available. So off the top of my head, I'm actually gonna go David Luiz, Gabriel. I'll go with Holding, man. You know what, Holding, you've been a bit of a madness last week, but who else is there? So I'll go with them 3 purely because Tierney goes left back. Right back for me is Maitland-Niles. Bellerin was poor last game. 2 midfielders. You need to get some creativity there. So I might take a gamble on Ceballos. Partey started fit. I might take a gamble. I'm leaning towards El Nene more, but I'll probably take a gamble on Ceballos. Maybe Xhaka, but Ceballos first. The fullbacks have already picked themselves. It leaves the front 3, and the front 3 will pick themselves. We'll put Aubameyang up front every day of the week. Saka goes. Well, do I? Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's my team.
That's the team. I would play Ceballos. Yeah, I think. Leeds are behind us in the table. We need to. We've got to take that fear factor out, man. I feel like we're playing games like, I feel like we might lose. Like, go there. We're the bigger team. Leeds are not in great form. They got slapped up by Leicester. They're not at the top of their game now. Let's go there and impose ourselves on them, man. Hit them on the counter-attack. Saka's confident. Put your arm around Pepe and say, listen, man, forget what's happened before. It's your time now. Show us what you're about. But the thing is, deep down within myself, do I believe he's going to start Pepe? Probably not. He'll probably play Willian, and this is the problem. So will Aubameyang play central? Probably not. Probably not. So this is where the problem is. I just hope Mikel Arteta, he changes that mentality, because I feel like it's going to come back to haunt him. Liverpool game, when we went there, I felt he gave them too much respect. Manchester City, too much respect.
I got killed for saying that, fam.
Brother, I see man celebrating because we lost 1-0 to Man City, talking about, we lost 3-0 before. I said, bro, come on. If we end up in that mentality, we'll never get anywhere. Leeds are a team that play football. They try and keep the ball. They leave themselves open. Bielsa leaves teams open. Leicester battered them on the counter-attack. Go there and beat them. Because if we win that game, all of a sudden I'm looking at the Wolves game thinking, all right, we can beat Wolves. If we go to Leeds and get a bad result, that Wolves game looks like a nightmare with Tottenham the week after. So we've got to win this game. Even a draw is unacceptable, man.
For me, I hear everything you're saying. I don't want to go into this defeative mindset. I think because of the way we are now, we're giving, and don't get twisted, you have to respect every team and whatnot, but we're giving too much respect and moving too scared. When I look at Villa, when I look at Southampton, ironically, when I look at Leeds, why they've had success is because of their manager and them, but they've been fearless, they've been brave. Like I have flashbacks of the Leeds game against City. For me, that's one of the highlights of the season, because I saw in Pep Guardiola's face, he was scared. He wanted a point. He's bringing on Ake. Like you said, a draw for most teams, they're not happy with that against Leeds. But I'm thinking about them because, they played well against Liverpool. They played well against City. They are vulnerable. They lost 4-1. But I'm pretty sure you feel the same way. Regardless of what another team's happened to another team or their form, comes out the window when they buck us. Like what Villa, back-to-back defeats before they played us. And now look, it's a bit of a concerning one. But
do you know the thing what worries me, bro? I'll be honest with you. I look at the next 3 games. I say, forget the teams. I'm going, we've got Bielsa, we've got Nuno, and we've got Mourinho. And I look at them 3 and I think, is Arteta a better coach than them 3? I know that doesn't necessarily mean how the result's going to go, but I think when you're under pressure, and you're coming up against a coach. I think Bielsa's looking at Arteta this weekend thinking, they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. If they go 1-0 down with the amount of pressure they're under at the moment, they're going to have problems. Do you know what I mean? They're going to have problems. You know, I remember Wolves at home last season. You know, they battered us in that game. We were lucky to draw that game. I think Jota was playing and that he was running rings around us.
He was lighting
man up. And then Tottenham the week after. So I think Arteta, man, these 3 games, I'm telling you, if he doesn't get the amount of points that we need in these next 3 games, we're going to have a different conversation in a couple of weeks.
Fact. And that brings me on to something I actually planned on talking to you about. You know, our next couple of games. Let's look at our next 5 games. I'm sure me and you both know them off by heart. But for anyone who doesn't, you know, you've got Leeds, you've got Wolves, you've got Spurs, you've got Burnley. And for some reason, my computer is now cut out and not letting me scroll down. Apologies, people. Let me do that again for you lot. Technology being a bastard that it is. So what?
Possibly Chelsea in it after Burnley.
No, look, yeah. To go the next 5 games: Leeds away, Arsenal versus Wolves at home, Spurs away, North London derby. You've got Burnley, and then you've got Southampton at home.
Southampton.
Our 6th game, I know I said 5, but I had to mention it, is Everton at Goodison. Carlo Ancelotti's men with their new signings. What are we saying for the first 5 games? What sort of points are we looking at? Or a team that should be, first of all, how many points you expect from us? And then second of all, a team that actually is aspiring to get top 4. What's an ideal point sort of tally they should be getting from the next 5?
I mean, realistically, we've got to beat Leeds. I'm not saying we will. I'm saying we need to. Wolves will be difficult. Oh man, it's horrible. I hate thinking about games and then thinking, oh, we're gonna struggle. And you know, I want to be positive, but do you know what?
We're not imposing ourselves enough. That's why we have no choice to sit here and think about Leeds all the time. But go on, bro.
Yeah, it's so bad. I'm looking at Leeds and thinking about but this and that, where I should just be saying, Leeds just come up, got promoted, they're below us in the table, we'll go there and beat them. I think out the next 5, I think if we can beat Leeds, Wolves is a difficult one. All right, let's say if we beat Leeds, we beat Wolves. Tottenham, I don't think we'll go to the lane and beat them, I'll be honest.
Bro, fuck all that. That's one thing. They can clip me up and make me look bad. Me and you can talk the truth off this. Nah. They have to turn up for that game, especially after they ruined Lacazette's been poor this season, but last season we should have ran away with that. Lacazette scored a banger and we messed up. So they're giving me 3 points. Arsenal, if you mess up, all the videos I do about you and this club, you need to give me 3 points against Spurs. I've not accepted no defeat. But go on, bro.
They've got to. And then what? Burnley at home, we should be beating them. Southampton, was that at home or was that away? I think that was
home still.
Come on, mate. Reality there, we got to be beating Burnley and Southampton at home. I'm sorry, man. And Leeds away for me. That's got to be a 9 points bread and butter. And then the Wolves and Tottenham game are kind of up in the air for me because I've seen us play Wolves, I think, 2 or 3 times, and we've struggled against them. They've given us a hard time. Remember that year under Emery? I think they beat us 3-0 midweek. I was like, no.
There was one. I think there was 3 back-to-back away games, and we lost to Leicester. Wolves, someone else must have ripped us there as well. I can't remember. Yeah. But that's bro. And that's why I'm looking at the players' mentality, fam. Because me and you, if we're sitting here, we're not footballers, but I'm pretty sure at some point you've sat here on Monday and said, all right, cool. International break's done. Whatever's happened in the Premier League pre-year has happened. You know, this is the amount of games. This is the points tally we should be getting and no less. And Arteta has to do the same. Do you genuinely think they're sitting there doing that?
I think Arteta's under so much pressure right now. I think he's just going game to game. Honestly, he probably, don't get me wrong, he worked with Pep and them guys are meticulous planners. So I'm sure he is looking down the line, but he's got to be thinking at the moment, let me just get through this Leeds game. You know what I mean? Let me just deal with this game before I think about Wolves, because otherwise, do you know what? I'm worried for Arteta. I'll be honest with you. I'm worried for him. I'm not looking at that fixture list with confidence just because we've got no style at the moment. If we were performing but not getting the results, I would be like, it's there, it's coming, it's going to click. It's just a matter of time. I watch us at the moment, and out of all the top teams in the league, I go, I don't know what we're trying to do. I
We're
don't
just
know what.
blindly supporting this thing. If we're honest, we're just blindly supporting because we're Arsenal fans and we love this club. There isn't a single thing to truly be behind right now, and that's what's harming us. You
Yeah.
mentioned a great point about Bielsa earlier and being a meticulous planner, and when I look at how Dean Smith, how he set up Aston Villa, when I look at Brendan Rodgers over the 90, when I look at Bielsa now and how tactically he's given Klopp and Pep something to think about and been quite difficult in that regard. Are you scared for Arteta's in-game management or how he reacts to things? Because that's one pet peeve. The last couple of games, I've been disappointed with him. He's not like the Leicester game in particular. Like you could see, like fans could see what was happening, and he wasn't reacting to it. We got Jose really. Brendan Rodgers did a Jose, and I look at it. Bielsa is extremely experienced. He gives people a tough time. Leeds have been a bit shaky, but at home they've been decent. Do you fear for him in that regards as well?
Brother, I do. I mean, how many times you stream these games as well? How many times when you're doing watch-alongs, do you watch these games and think like, bruv, are you going to change it? Like, we're so predictable. It's like 65 minutes. Oh, yeah, let me bring Eddie on for Lacazette. Or I might bring Pepe on for Willian. It's so predictable all the time. And I think if you're playing against Arsenal right now, you're sitting there planning. You can go, right, they're going to play 5 at the back. They're going to play wing backs. They're going to play. You could pick at least 9. You could pick at least 9 out of that 11 that are going to play. You know what substitutions we're going to make. You know what we're going to try and do. We're going to counter-attack. We're not quick in transition. I think we're very predictable. And that's why
you see it in the game.
And that's it, bro. That's why you see a Dean Smith just come to the Emirates and just rattle us. Because it's like, I know what you're going to do. I know how to counter that. I'm gonna put more midfielders in, outnumber you in midfield. They had a lot of pace and movement in midfield, and we couldn't get anywhere near them.
Oh, yeah.
I think the problem for me, in my opinion, as a football manager, I think you should always build around the strength of that team while trying to improve the weakness.
Meet them halfway.
If you look at Jurgen Klopp, and I know people use the Liverpool comparison, and it is totally different. I get that. When Klopp went to Liverpool, he played what we sort of said was like blockbuster football. They were winning 4-3. They would concede goals. They had a bit of a shaky defense. But what he realized is the attack is the best thing in this team. I don't think you can play a defensive style with a poor defense. And I think that Arsenal have a poor defense.
You're a target.
You're a target. Gabriel is the only top defender in our defense. You could say Tierney as well as a left back. So half our defense is weak.
And the ones that are decent aren't natural out and out fullbacks in that thing and them things there as well.
Exactly. And you're playing wing back who aren't really wing backs, and you got a left back at centre back. So instead of Arteta going, let me be really defensive and try and sort out the defense, and it's still not working, why not say, do you know what? My defense ain't great. I'll work with them in training, but my attack is the strongest part of this team. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to score goals. I'm going to be free-flowing. We might concede, but we're going to outscore teams. When I can get a good transfer window, I can get a better centre-back to play next to Gabriel. Maybe you need a right-back as well. Then you can be a little bit more defensively solid because you've got the defenders that are going to hold out. People have been saying, oh, we're better defensively this season. We look more solid. Well, actually, we've lost 4 out of 8. Maybe we're not losing by as many goals, but we're still losing games. Does it matter if we lose 1-0 or 3-0? We're still losing. We're not. Yeah. And we're not losing. Let's face it, bruv. We haven't lost to great teams. Like Aston Villa are not great. They've started the season well, but, realistically, we didn't even lay a glove on them at home.
Back defeats prior to playing us. Once again, for those who did not hear me say that.
Back to back. Southampton and Leeds, 2 teams who are, again, not amazing teams, beat them yet. Aston Villa looked like Bayern Munich against us, bro. We couldn't get near them. I think Arteta, he's focusing for me on the wrong thing. What I liked about him last season, when we played that counter-attacking football against the big teams, we were quick in transition. Look at the way we broke down Man City and Chelsea and Liverpool. When we got the ball, we played out from the back. We exploded on the counter-attack. When you're playing against teams who sit back, you don't need to do that. You've now got to get on the front foot and impose yourself on them. He's got to be more flexible. We're not controlling games in midfield. And as you said before in our last stream, bro, not one of our attacking players is in form. And that has to be aimed at the manager because How does Aubameyang go from Golden Boot winner 2 years ago, last year 1 goal off? If Aubameyang scores 15 Premier League goals this year, I'll be shocked if we carry on playing like this.
Right now, yeah. Even Williams, I'm not, listen, Williams playing poor because Williams playing poor. But statistically, I don't have it to hand. He's creating less chances or game in, game in than against Lampard. Now, when you look at that, Lampard's an attacking coach. For whatever you say, he's going to have to improve defensively. But that's a system that's going to get the best out of him. We're not getting the best out of our players. And one thing that I praised Arteta, and we saw evidently, was his IQ around players and knowing exactly what to do. You look at our team now, it doesn't look like there's a clear plan. It doesn't look like he clearly is convinced by a single player. Clearly, we've said it before, there's several players playing in different roles, certain strikers not playing. So he needs to figure it out. And I'm not saying he needs to have answered every question, but we should be seeing more development right now. And for me, like I said in a video earlier, I just feel at the moment, week in, week out, there is more questions than answers. And all I wanted as a fan was answers. And I'm making question on question. You know, if you answered the answer to creativity, I wouldn't be questioning where the hell Mesut Ozil is and all of these other things, or you brought someone in. We don't help ourselves in that regards. People, make sure you're hitting the like button. And also, I've left this thing up for a while. South London's Finest has said, DG, knowing Bielsa has managed Pepe, and we know the stories on how intense his training is, how come he can play in his system but struggle to get game time with Arteta? What have you got to say on that, Curtis?
I think Arteta's got too caught up in that. You know, you see that with some managers. You know, I read a thing with John Obi Mikel. He said that Eden Hazard was the worst trainer at Chelsea. He said he did the bare minimum. He just got through it. He didn't excel. He didn't strain himself. But you all knew this guy's the best player on the pitch come Saturday. Sometimes you have these managers who are like, you've got to be absolute bang at it in every training session. Me personally, I don't believe in that. You know, some of the best players I've ever played with, even at the level I've played, are not great trainers. It's just that motivation is different. You know, I've seen you on a match day, bruv. You're an absolute lunatic. You know what I mean?
And I'm poor in training. I'm poor. I can't cap
man up.
I'm poor in training. My guy told me that even plays for my Sunday league team. Listen, on the Sunday, he's one of the best players there are. Training, you'd think he's one of the worst. So it's all about managing these maverick players. Obviously, not everyone can be like that, my guy. But when you have a mercurial talent, not that I'm saying Pepe is of the levels of players like that, but when you've got a certain player like that, you've got to coach them right. Like Jack Grealish, he's probably a madness in training, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if somebody told me, yo, listen, you wouldn't believe that's the Jack Grealish on Sunday because on the training ground it's this and that. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I'm sure I heard Tevez weren't the best of trainer. Would you have got that seeing him on a Sunday? It's about the personality. You have to have the IQ around the player. Of course, 100%. Of course, I want 25 man, you know. He's saying sprint 1 million times, you're doing 2 million. Of course, I want stuff like that. But you've got to be sensible. And when you've got players like that, not that I'm saying Pepe deserves that, because like you mentioned, Hazard for me has earned that right. I don't think Pepe's earned that right to do them things. But you've got to have the IQ around players and managing them, man. I don't believe, like you said, I don't believe in the everyone must train and run up and down. When you got man like Tierney, you know, they train as you play. And then you've probably got other people, you know, people probably be shocked who actually performs in training and who doesn't really.
Bro, do you know the thing as well? Like, to me, the best managers, what they can show is they can work with what they've got. Now, Mikel Arteta is showing that he doesn't trust a lot of the players in this squad. But the reality is that's what you've got to work with right now until the summer or January. So show that you can work with them. Now, Willian, we've spoke about Willian a lot, and most fans at the moment are fuming with Willian. What I will say is this. Willian, statistically, in terms of goals and assists, had his best season last season, right? He was still 31, 32 at that time. I'm not saying that means he's the answer for us, but what I'm saying, he was producing something for Chelsea. So how has he gone from that last season, a Chelsea team that wasn't even great, to coming to Arsenal and looking that bad? Again, we are going to blame Willian, and rightly so, but some of the blame has to go on the manager. How come you're not getting anything out of something that Frank Lampard was getting something out of? So you have to ask these questions. He can't just turn around and keep saying, I don't really, I don't trust these players. I want my own squad. Bruv, you're lucky to have the Arsenal job. We are the third biggest club in English football. By right, Arteta should be nowhere near the Arsenal job. If you're looking at the CV, you got a great opportunity. You knew what you was walking into. I'm sure the board would have told him, you ain't gonna have 150 million to spend in the window. You got to work with it, you know. So I think Arteta, for me, the guy's not doing himself no favors, and I think unless he changes his mentality and his way of thinking, I think he's going to have a very difficult season. And as I said, he's lucky that the fans aren't in the ground because, you know, after Aston Villa, you've been in the Emirates enough times, bro. Them fans will be booing him.
Boy, yeah, it will get so long for Donny, man. It wouldn't actually. I don't know. And you made a great point about Willian, how, you know, we had to get him. I remember when Arteta came, he spoke about Premier League proven. Now, clearly, nobody's expecting Willian to be up there with Mo Salah, with Mane, and the rest of them. But I'm seeing people, not that Arteta was saying it, but we were saying, you know, Pepe new to the league, blah, blah, blah. Willian Premier League proven. Why haven't we got the same Willian? You know, that Willian that started well against Fulham, and I think people over-exaggerated. Why hasn't that persisted? You've heard Willian even give an interview. He's, you know, I'm happy with the coaching and happy with Arteta, but he says little things like not that he's frustrated, but sometimes I can't be in this area because what the manager's telling me. Now, as poor as Willian has been in this, in wanting balance, you have to, and he has to take the full blame of that. Like you said, we have to look at Arteta because he's telling these players what to do. This is why I tell fans, until it becomes a clear thing where it's the manager or clearly the players, you have to level out the blame elsewhere because they're all playing. When we win, we always, you know, sing Arteta's name to the high heavens. So why not use the same balance and questioning? Not that we want him to fail. Why hasn't it worked? As my man has said, we've only kept 2 clean sheets in 8 games. We've conceded a lot, but we don't score a lot. Now, granted, let's look again balance because we have had Liverpool and City. When we look at it without emotion, not that it's a good result, but you know, we've been used to cricket scores. That's balance.
Bro, you see, like, and you make a great point there about Willian because I remember an interview that Henri did where he was talking about Pep Guardiola and he said he was playing on the left and he said it was a Champions League game and he went on the right off his own accord. Do you remember that? And he said he scored and he said, I come in at half time and Pep dragged him. Pep was like, listen, you stay within that system. Now, is Arteta doing that same thing? Because when I'm watching Arsenal now, it does look quite regimented. It looks like, yo, this is the system and you stick with it. You, man, don't start interchanging and moving and going where you want. Because look at Aubameyang. Aubameyang's hugging the touchline this season. I haven't seen that.
I'm seeing him cross the ball, bro. Your top goal scorer, the most potent guy in your team, crossing the ball. As I said last season, if I'm a defender trying to get 3 points, I'm effing laughing. It's like against... If I'm Johnny Evans, who's still a good defender, but losing your legs, you've got the pace of Aubameyang. He's crossing the ball for Saka and people that are half your height, and the team's meant to be chasing the game. You're absolutely laughing. And it's these things that I'm looking at as a fan. You lot play football, you know football, you know, you've got whole heap of UEFA qualifications and things. What, you know more than me. So why can't you lot see this? And it's like, it's every game. If it happens isolated, okay, cool, these things happen. But it's almost 9 times out of 10, the same themes are occurring. Like, it's not making no sense.
Yeah, brother. And I don't understand why the manager won't change it. It's crazy because Aubameyang, what someone said is, you know, I wonder if Aubameyang wants to play on the left because Aubameyang's never really spoken about it. We're all saying put him through the middle. You know, I wonder, as he signed a new contract playing on the left, so... But I think it's how he was playing on the left. He was playing on the left as like a striker on the left.
Now he's a winger.
Now he's a winger. He's hugging touchline now and running back. So I think I always say in football, you can turn things around. You know, things change quickly in football. We beat Leeds. We put in a positive performance. Aubameyang scores. Things look a lot more rosy. We're only 6 points off the top of the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but we can at least get close to that top 4. But it has to change quick. Someone saying near Willian at Cam. I remember when we signed Willian, me and you were talking about that, saying, listen, to me, that's a position I would have liked to have seen him play. I think he went there for 20 minutes against Sheffield United, and we looked better in that second half.
Fact.
So he's got to change things quickly, you know. At the moment, I'm going to be totally honest. At this present moment, I do not think Mikel Arteta is the right manager for Arsenal. I got to be honest. I'm laying it out there. But what I will say, he can change it. He can turn that around. I'm not saying get him out. I'm saying at the moment, I don't like what I'm seeing from the team. And because this is Arsenal, we're not some mid-table team that's just like going through the motions. We're trying to get back to near the top of the Premier League.
Yeah.
We're falling further behind.
Quite spoiled, really and truly. Like, even won FA Cups. You know, many fans of other clubs would look at it and say, yeah, you can cry about being failures. You've spent 70 million on a player. You won an FA Cup in recent years, as recent as last year. What are you lot moaning about? Sort of thing. So we do have a bit of balance, which most fans don't get. But it's just, if the board just tell us, like, you don't get the vibe. Well, Arsenal's one of these clubs, if you look at in the Premier League, you don't get the vibe there's a direction. Like, you look at people below us, if you can even say that. Wolves, you knew initially they're just trying to stay in the Premier League, but they're trying to do this Europe thing. Leicester are trying to do this top 4 thing, you know. Spurs are even showing more ambition in a regards, you know. You look at Arsenal, you probably look at West Ham, you don't, 2 clubs off the top of my head, you don't really see direction. You kind of have an idea and an inkling as to what they want to do, but you don't have an evident sort of plan and direction sort of thing. Like, it really doesn't make sense. We got a question here. We've got a question here, and I wanted to put it to you. Do you think there's a way back for Guendouzi to deal with this question?
Do you know what? I'd like to think so. I would like to think if Guendouzi goes to Germany this year and matures as a man, not just as a footballer, but kind of grows up, I think the door should be open for him, because the guy's 21. He's the French under-21 captain. Clearly, there's talent there.
Clearly got ability, man.
And I think you've got to work with that attitude problems. You've got to help him learn from
out and that, man.
Yeah, just figure that out with him. Don't just say he's got an attitude, get rid of him. That's a player that potentially you would look at and say, you could get 40, 50 million for him in a year or two if he developed. If he ends up as a French international on a regular basis. And we need players like that. You've picked up a little guy, 7 million. You've developed him. If he grows up, if he has a good season, I think the door should be open. I would at least like to see him at Arsenal for pre-season, where you have a look, play him in the friendlies, take him on tour, and see if he's changed. If he's still a problem, bin him. If he has grown up, give him a chance, man. Give him a chance.
Because he's still excelling. He's still playing well for France's under-21s. You know, in terms of his health, he's got over the corona. He's starting for her for Berlin. I personally think he's gone, but I would like to see him come back, man, because I think he's got the ability. I think when it's channeled right, he's got the temperament. Like he has had a bit bouts of consistency. There's been periods he's done really well. I think he is one of those players you either think he's good or you think he's rubbish, depending on how you, because he's not a midfielder that's going to get goals or assists, but I like him, man. He's got the temperament. I wouldn't describe him as a ball carrier, but he looks to at least try and play it forward. There isn't bravery. I'd rather him than Xhaka. The only thing going against him, Xhaka loses the ball a lot, so I don't know how to structure this. But Xhaka, there's probably a bit more maturity in Xhaka's play. There's probably a tiny bit more consistency in his play. I can't understand it, man. I wanted to ask you, is there any positives from the season though? Like, we focus kind of negative. Have you got any? Like, because
no, do you know what I think? I think Saka's been a positive. I think, you know, he's stepped his game up. He's played a different role this year. I think last year, you know, he got a lot of numbers last year and assists and things like that. I think this year he's had to, you know, do a lot of different things for us, but I think he's excelling. I think I don't want us to be too negative. I've been quite negative since the Aston Villa game. It's more that performance that has, and having the international break, it's just, even now, it still bothers me, that game. But I think, look, Martinelli signed a new contract. He's back in training. He's back available next month. I think Martinelli can be a superstar. I think Aubameyang signing a new contract was huge. Look how we celebrated that. We got Partey, we got Gabriel. Them two, you would say they're two of our best players already. I think Kieran Tierney, I want to see him eventually go back to left back.
And stay there.
Because I actually think Tierney and Saka, that left side could be theirs for me. Left back, left wing, let them own that left side. So in that sense, you know, we've beaten Man United away. We've got that thing of, you know, we haven't beaten a top 6 side. It's good. I suppose the positives you can take, we've been to Old Trafford, Anfield, Etihad, they're out the way. We go to Tottenham in a few weeks. So 4 of the most difficult games of the season will be done and dusted away from home. So, you know, second half of the season, you're back at the Emirates. You might even have fans there. You might have settled into a formation and a system that works. So what I will say, I've given Arteta a hard time. I haven't liked the football. It can be turned around. And I do think he is working with a squad that isn't great. So I will give him that kind of excuse. But look, we're 6 points off the top. If we can get a run together, win 3-4 games in a row, get a style of football, get people scoring, it can still turn around. So it's not all doom and gloom. But I think the Aston Villa game was really, that's what's caused the problem. We're all still angry about that game. We need the next game so we can get over that. So there's plenty of positives, man. We got good young players at the team, and hopefully we're moving in the right direction. I'd like to see us buy someone in January, by the way. At least one.
Bring something in, because we can't, like, if you're not gonna re-register Ozil, it's gonna be more of the same. I meant to ask you this question, just took my mind away, sort of thing. I actually forgot the question. Oh yeah, there we have it again. It's just reminded me. I can't find it, but someone mentioned home form. What have you made of our home form? Because it's a weird one. I won't say like our home form was amazing, but I mean, up until I think Leicester, as our first loss in 2020, there used to be at home. There used to be a stark contrast between our home and away games. That's not to say we were perfect at home. We had mixed success, but you could say, okay, at least at home I'm a bit more confident. Now you're looking at it, Leeds away, you're as shaky as what, like based off the Leicester and Aston Villa games, Leeds away is the same for me. Who was playing Wolves at home. I can't have more confidence. The other. Statistically, we look better away from home, but you know how that story goes. At home, it's not the fortress it used to be, if you can call it that. What have you made of that?
Do you know what? I think the home form, I just think with the no fans and that, not that the Emirates was like a fortress, like you said, or anything, but I just think now, if you're coming to the Emirates as an away team, like you said, you're just thinking, look at this pitch, look at this stadium. We're going to enjoy ourselves today. You know yourself, at any level you play, you go to certain grounds and you look and you see that carpet of a pitch and you think, I'm going to enjoy myself today, man. And I just think teams come to the Arsenal at the moment and they think we're going to have a go at them. They look vulnerable. We look like we can get a goal against them. So I think that's why we're not as good at home this season, because teams, you look at the home games this year. West Ham, we beat them 2-1. We were hanging on. Antonio hit the crossbar. We were scrambling. Sheffield United got a goal back. We were hanging on last 10 minutes. Leicester came here and just, that was daylight robbery. That game should have been done. And then Aston Villa have battered us. So we haven't controlled a home game this season in the Premier League. Even Dundalk didn't, we didn't look totally comfortable. Even Mulder came and went 1-0.
Our couple Europa League games have been a bit shaky. What was it? Rapid Vienna, the first game. We had to come back. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I just think we got to make it more difficult. This is what I wanted with the whole Thomas Partey and Gabriel. You make it now that when teams come against Arsenal, if you're a midfielder, you're looking at Thomas Partey thinking, yo, I'm going to have a problem today, man. This guy ain't going to leave me alone. Gabriel looks like he's up for it physically as well. I look at this team and I think if Arteta picks the right kind of system, the right kind of formation and plays with more attacking intent, I believe we're capable of getting top four. I don't even necessarily think we've got one of the best teams in the league, but it's such a scrambled season. Everyone's all over the place this year. You don't know what's going to happen. You look at Liverpool, they've got injury crisis. Nathan Ake just got injured for Man City international break. It's wide open. The title's wide open. The top four's wide open. We can just get that consistency this year, there's no reason we can't nick fourth or win the Europa League. So as much as people are saying, give Arteta time, and I get that, he does need time. Equally, this season is a massive opportunity for a team to say, you know what, maybe we weren't even ready for top four, but we've nicked top four this year. Then you have a big summer. Bruv, imagine this summer, if we get Champions League football and you get Ozil 350 grand out the door, Socrates 80 grand, Mustafi 90 grand, Kolasinac 100 grand. If we're sitting there with Champions League football, 100 million in our pocket and 800,000 a week in wages, imagine what we could actually do in the transfer market. We could be a serious team next year. So that's why I'm not kind of saying, oh, just give Arteta 2 or 3 years, because to me, at the top of the Premier League, you don't get 2 or 3 years to settle in. You had your settling in period last year. Now we need to see something from you.
Building blocks, and that's facts. And the thing is, I got from there is like I say, is ifs. If I'm any of these players, and they're saying if they need to play to the level where that's an assurance, because that's the wickedest thing about being an Arsenal fan. There's plenty of reasons for us to be negative. There's plenty of reasons to be positive. That's why balance is more important. My guy does make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. He's asked, and he's our team centre midfielder, our guy in his Pierre, bro. But he said, "I think we need a 4-2-3-1 again." I want to see that, but does Arteta? You know, I wouldn't mind that, because there's a clear 10. There's a clear 10, 4 at the back, 3, and then like I want to see one of Aubameyang, and then you have 2 goal scoring wingers or threats, which I think Pepe can be if given a consistent period. Saka's shown he can be a threat whether he's scoring or assisting. So I think there's balance there, really.
No, definitely, I agree, man. I think most people want to see us go back to that. I only ever saw 3 or 5 at the back as a short-term formation. So get back to that 4 at the back, man. Someone's saying there, you know, the fans used to get behind the team. Listen, we're all behind the team. We're all behind the team. What we can't do, we can't ignore failures as well, because what you got to understand, you look at teams like Wolves, Leicester, teams like that, Everton. These teams are creeping behind us now. In fact, some of them are finishing ahead of us.
We're like that, fam. We're scared.
We're neck and neck. You know, years ago, we were fighting with Man City and Chelsea and Man United. We're now fighting with Everton and Leicester and Wolves and Sheffield United last season. So we can't deny that there has been a fall. So when you're saying support the club, of course we're supporting the club. What we have to do is realize what the problems are and address them. As you say, it's only constructive criticism. When we win, we celebrate more than anyone, you know. But we have to recognize the issues at the club as well if we're going to move forward. I think constantly being positive when things is going wrong, that is as harmful as anything else, because that turns into madness. Like, oh no, everything's all right while the house is on fire. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that.
There's fans that, like, it's like, I believe in Arteta. I want Arteta to turn it around, but you don't necessarily believe he's the man right now. But we're of the same opinion of all of that will praise and critique fairly. I might want it's in my interest for him to do well, but I'm not going to sit here and just condone everything and just say trust the process, so that in 6 months or a year from now there might be a chance where I can say, none of you believed in him, blah blah blah. That's the problem with football fans. You know, everybody picked a side where really it should be the middle. What is Arteta done? What is he doing? There's positives, whatever way man look at it. You know, he started well. He came into a club that was a shambles. Won the Community Shield, he won the FA Cup. You know, he got some players playing well. There's negatives now. We don't see this ID. We don't see a lot of things he's spoken about. That's why I'm on the fence. You can't be 100% convinced on Arteta right now. You can't be 100% against him right now. You know, if you don't think he's the man and that happens, cool. If you think he's the man, fair play. But we just, our problem with this club, we just do short-term things and expect long-term, not even long-term, short-term thinking, long-term solutions sort of thing. It's like we try paper over a crack, or we might apply sellotape to something where we just need to buy a new one. Lo and behold, when it finally is needed and it breaks and it's a shambles, we're upset. You get what you pay for, and we've spent cheaply. Not to hot up Willian, but you know, we get what you pay for with Willian. David Luiz has been an okay signing, but there's been times he's let us down. You know, the amount of goals to errors and penalties, you're getting what you pay for. And when you spend, for me, bro, when you spend cheaply, it turns out being expensive, because you're now trying to pattern off not just the initial mistakes and problems, but right your own wrongs now. Like, we're still talking about centre halves now. You got Celine Gabriel. Why are we still talking about centre halves? I'm not saying we don't need one, but why are we still on this? We cried for a striker. Why are none of these strikers banging? It's a bit of a madness. It's a madness right now, man.
No, it is, bro. I think you know, with the whole Arsene Wenger situation, I think that put a massive divide in the fan base. And what has happened, it's like, all right, we had that big divider, you Wenger in, Wenger out. And then when Wenger left, what should have happened was the fan base should have all come together. Like, right, that debate's finished. We've moved on. It's a new time. Let's all come back together. The main focus is just we support the club. But then what happened? You get other situations where it's Mesut Ozil then. Oh, do you want Ozil in or do you not? You know, because Emery dropped him. And then do you want Emery in or Emery out? Or do you want Arteta in, Arteta out? All of that is kind of irrelevant at the moment. It's just simply we want the best for the football club, and how are we going to get it? Do you know what I mean? And that's all that matters to me. When people say, oh, I see the guy there, oh, you're being negative about it. But listen, we all just want a solution. We all want success at Arsenal. We want to be happy watching the football. we all want the same result at the end of the day. It's just how we get it.
Exactly, man. And like Turkish said, short term because of personnel, and we haven't addressed that properly. Big up Turkish. Hey, you lot, get on Turkish, because he's supposed to be on a live stream with me tomorrow. If it does not happen, get at Turkish. But you're right. We all know the big elephant in the room is the Kroenkes and whatnot, and Turkish has followed that up. Talking about Arteta excessively, ignores the main issue and insinuates you believe the club will bring in the manager you want or need next. They won't, because they don't care. And like Turkish says, until you strike the shepherd, the sheep will follow. No matter what you have to say about Arteta and his positives and his negatives, and how we question him on the football field, it's about the people above him, because there's been different managers, there's been different players, there's been one constant, and that constant for me is going to remain. Turkish will know better than me, because he's more on that sort of stuff. Not that I don't want the Kroenkes gone. How we could formulate a plan to just get them to listen or whatever, I don't know, because we're a special fan base. If you us two and Turkish say, we're never going to a game again, and we're all season ticket holders, there's going to be 100 man fighting for that. So can things change? I don't know, man. I just hope Kroenke wakes up one day and he says, you know what, I want to do this Roman Abramovich thing and spend money. But
it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. We're living a movie with that one, man. We're living a movie. What time do you have to go, bro? I'm conscious of your time, man.
I got about 10 minutes.
He's got about 10 minutes, people. So get your questions in, get the likes in, make sure you're doing all of that. I know you've done this already, Curtis, on your show, and I've done it on one of my lives already as well. But I think with us both being here, if we go through the list of players that have played significantly, and out of 10, just give them a sort of rating for how you feel they've done so far, that simply. So I'll skip out the ones that can't be a thing, like clearly Matt Macy and Rinnerson, they've not played. About. So let's go with Leno, what's your feelings on Leno? What are you giving him?
I'll probably give Leno a 6. I don't think he's excelled. He's still got that shit. I think a 6. He's been average to me. I think a few games he's made great saves. A few of the goals I've looked at and thought, you kind of palm that into dangerous areas. I give him a 6. And let's face it, you're always going to have that shadow of Emi Martinez in the background. Unfortunately, man, I don't like to talk about it, but I don't think Leno's trash. That's harsh, man. I think he's all right.
I don't think Leno's poor. I think he's a good shot stopper. I think there's been games we've got destroyed since he's been here and he's done well. That being said, I agree with what you're saying in that, he's a good shot stopper, but when you review the shot stopping, he's palming it in danger at times. For me, he's made a couple of mistakes in quick succession this season that have led to goals and put pressure. So I would give him a 5. Curtis, I thought Curtis would give him a 5. I thought I was being Curtis gone with a 6. I'll go with a 5. But it's a high 5. It's not like you've just about passed the test.
You can't make the 5 high, You can't give a man
you can. And when you pass the test and it shows 100, if man have got 80 and someone have got 95, what are you saying for that?
Cool. Yeah.
It's like, I think Leno's one of those in an ideal world. If every area we're crying for our team to be fixed up in, if it was patterned, we might be looking at our goalie in that regards. I think there's other men that need to go and other questions that need to be answered. But it is what it is. I see Turkish in the comments. And before we carry on, people, harass this guy. Tomorrow he needs to be on my channel. Please, man. Because he's going to act prestige. Since he went on Rance's thing and does a little show, he's forgot about, man. Now, big up Curtis. I mean, big up Turkish, man. Big up Curtis as well. Make sure you sign up to Curtis Shaw TV. Make sure you're signed up to Turkish's channel as well. Your main friend, I should have saved him till last, Hector Bellerin. What do you give him?
4.
4.
What's he done, really, bruv? I seen Jack Grealish body him. I seen Sterling body him. He's had a couple decent performances against who? Like, not the big teams. Move him on in the summer, bro. That one.
You know what? A man of harsh, man are saying 3. Do you know what, Bellerin? I'll give him a 5, because I'm taking. If it was for me personally, I'm giving you a 2. But when I had to remove my own opinion and I look at it, he's been good against Sheffield United in the second half. He did all right against United. He's been all right. We don't assist too tough, but he's up there for assists as well. So he scrapes a 5, man. He scrapes a 5. But I share what you're saying that, we need to be looking at this position. Right back isn't an area we should keep talking about that we need to fix up. Like with Tierney, we instantly moved for Tierney, got him confirmed, and it's done. Like, we don't need to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tierney, Kieran Tierney, what are you saying for him?
I give Tierney a 6. I just think more with him, he needs to play in his natural position. So I blame the manager more than him. I think he's done all right, apart from that fall where he kicked his legs and fell over. And I think Tierney's been all right.
He's been bugging out a bit. I mean, Tierney's been bugging out. I mean, Salah made him dance, but he's been calm, man. I'm very biased to Tierney. I can't lie, man. I'm not gonna cap, man. Tierney's one of my favorite players. He just gets on with his job. I think 6. Saliba is not really, you have to say, through no fault of his own, it's a 0 for me, because the club haven't planned what they want to do with Saliba. There's been no plan. He's playing under 23s football. He's not getting no cup games, Similar to fans, we've probably been sold the same dream Saliba was sold about him coming and what he's meant to be doing and whatnot. So Saliba irrelevant. Socrates ain't played to be relevant. Gabriel, what are you saying for Gab?
I'll give him a 9. I think he's been outstanding. He's walked into a shocking defence and he's just stood out above everyone. 9, he's been different class. He has. If it weren't for the Aston Villa game, I'd give him a 10. He's been immense.
The Aston Villa game, I'm gonna give him a 10, man. And I know obviously he signed a 5-year deal, but I'm gonna give him a 10 because based on what you said, but I'm just literally giving him a 10. The Villa game, everybody had a part to play in that game, and even his defending collectively weren't the best. But I haven't seen him really. I'm a bit concerned about that under-hit back pass he plays. I think he's gonna make a mistake there. But hopefully, his 5-year period is like this at Arsenal. He started so well. He likes to defend. For me, it's a player that will just simply we can have confidence in for a sec now, man. Like Tierney confidence, Gabriel confidence. Fair enough, Aubameyang isn't scoring, but for me, extreme confidence in him. Saka confidence. Don't have confidence in too much other man. Obviously, we were very stingy with transfers, but when you sign someone for 5 million up front and the rest of the 20 odd is over a period, they're the one sort of bright sparks.
Great deal.
Yeah, man, 9 and 10, he's good. He's probably the best performer, him, Saka, probably up there, Rob Holding.
He's getting a, I don't know, with Rob, I'm giving Rob a 4 as well. I think that's kind.
Do you know what?
I don't think he's good enough.
I don't know, man. Like, because I think he had a good reaction after almost getting sold. I think it's a Bellerin thing for me, just about scrapes a 5. But like you said, when I see the couple of games he's been playing now, kind of needs to go. I'm a bit biased. I don't know what it is with Rob Holding. And I mean, the random in the comments, I'm not trying to allow him, look, 4s, 3s. You're spot on.
Yeah.
For a 5. One of my guys, big up Leon. Look, the 5s for Holding. He's better than
5.
Say more 4s. He's probably one of them that's gonna split opinion the most. Cedric Suarez.
I mean, can you even rate him? He's hardly played a game?
I'm gonna give it a 0 because I'm not convinced. Man, he's too hot and cold based in the little bit he's been thrown in.
Yeah,
Mustafi's not really.
Not really played.
Chambers, Marie, bare centre half, so irrelevant. David Luiz.
David Luiz, I give him a 6. I think he's been all right next to Gabriel. I think he's helped Gabriel settle.
Yeah.
I can't really think of a big mistake that he's made this season. I don't know, but I give him a 6. For him, for 8 million, he's been all right this season.
I share what you mean with David Luiz in that you kind of just take the man for what he is. He's gonna have mad mistakes and stuff, but he ain't really done that. He ain't been too bad. He's looked all right with Gabriel. Like you said, I think we can't underestimate how good he's been for Gabriel, I guess, off the field, but on it as well. And that's one of our concerns. And in true Arsenal fashion, we probably have to sign another centre-half because as much as I want Saliba and Gabriel long-term, and I know Marie's there at 26, I think there's too much of a gap with our centre-half options. It's like there's too much, there's young men, and then there's extremely old ones on the cusp, on the first team books right now. We need to try and get a couple more like Marie that are in their mid-20s. Maybe I'd actually like someone 28 approaching 30. I think we need a bit of experience, but they have to be good. So like they simply
exactly.
I don't know about class. And I don't know about very good, but he has done all right. If people are saying Luiz is the problem at Arsenal this year, it's an agenda thing, really and truly. They're just getting on to him, really. Kolasinac, 2
Yeah,
for me.
nah, you can't even. I give him a 0. He's a joke.
Yeah, to Kolasinac. Less said, the better, man.
Yeah.
You know, someone that will bring a smile to both our faces and Arsenal fans, Bukayo Saka.
Saka, I will give. What will I give Saka? I'll give him an 8. I give him an 8. I think he's been brilliant. I only give Gabriel the 9 because he's just come into the team and he looks like he just walked straight in. So I'll give Saka an 8. I think he's been brilliant.
I'd give Saka a 9, to be fair, purely because, again, a bit of bias, and I guess he could have more assists to his name. And I think in terms of that own goal, he's unlucky. But the build up, being a fullback, watching that, I think he could have done a lot better. I think Villa was one of those games he could have, like, you actually have to learn what it means to be a fullback, because most of his excelling in that position has been going forward. I give him respect. He's played there against Liverpool, he's played there against City and done his thing. But I'm giving Saka a 9 purely because I look at Gabriel, I look at Saka. It seems like they're the only ones that it means a thing. And he's 19. He's playing like the 32-year-old, not Willian for me. Like, he's the consistency, the temperament, just shutting up and doing your job. I've got a lot of time for Saka, so I'm going to give him a 9. I would like to see a bit more goals and assists because I think he's getting into that area and he snatched at chances. But, for Gabriel, he's probably the best performer for me anyways, or the only one that I feel is doing anything game in, game out. And the fans, them are, they're coming for, Saka's getting a lot of love. The lowest he's getting is a 7. I think even a 7 is a bit harsh on Bukayo, man.
Yeah,
he's got 8 and 8.5s in that.
Yeah, I give him an 8.
Exactly. And like my man says, Saka has too much responsibility, bro. He has to do everything. He has to be put everywhere. He's putting these experienced players to absolute shame, Subi. Absolute shame, man. Danny Ceballos, bro.
I think what can I give him? A 5 or 4? I don't know. He hasn't really done anything. He hasn't played that much, but I haven't been impressed with him this season, man. I think, I don't know, a 5 or 4. He hasn't done much, has he? And when he has, he hasn't really done anything. I give him a 4.
I'll say a 4, bro. I think, to be a couple man that I've cut luxuries of a 5, I think Ceballos is a 4 because I haven't seen him. He could get a 5. He could, like M said, M's tipping me towards a 5, but I'm going with you on a 4 because he ain't played too tough. But what was that game? He went, I think Xhaka, Partey and Ceballos played, but Ceballos was more going to the right. He looked lost, and he's looked lost all season. I think the games have passed him by. Last year, he was playing like this, and then towards the end of the year, he became that
really well, yeah.
So let's hope that he's on this thing. But as Emma said, he kind of lets me down. I don't think he hides from the ball. I think that one's a bit harsh. I think he
wants the ball. He wants the ball.
He doesn't do the right things with it. And like Subi said, he probably doesn't look happy. Maybe the season hasn't happened enough for him because I know he was doing that at Madrid. Then you come to do it at Arsenal. Maybe that's played a part.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't kicked a ball, has he? He can't do nothing. Can't say nothing.
Yeah, another irrelevant guy. Maitland-Niles. 1 minute he's frozen out, then he's a key player.
Yeah, again, I can't rate him high. He hasn't.
What happened there? Wow, Maitland-Niles done a mad thing. Is that what Maitland-Niles doing to Curtis? I think 4s are harsh, people. I think 4s are harsh. I'll give him a 5. Curtis. I mentioned Mesut Ozil. And the thing, apparently he's got people onto him. And now look, go for Curtis, but Curtis trust me, Curtis just bust out. He's on 420. That's what I was thinking, Sibi. I'd give Ozil a 5 for saving Gunnosaurus. Partey gets a 9 for 9's a gassing. I give him a 7. In the minutes he's played, he's added what we need to play. And obviously his first big game against Manchester United, he did well. So I give Partey a 7. Elneny gets an 8 for himself because he's found a role for himself, in my opinion, in the team. Elneny's done well with the opportunities he's played. And when I exclude Bukayo Saka and I exclude Gabriel off the top of my head, I'm looking at Elneny in terms of performances and whatnot. So yeah, Joe Willock, from what you've played in, I'll give you a 5. You ain't really done too much. You're not really in the starting lineup. You're not really in Arteta's thinking when he's playing games, unless he's doing a game plan thing. I'll give him a 5. Smith Rowe gets a 0 because he ain't been playing. Xhaka gets a 4. Lacazette is where it gets a bit political, people. Because for me, I'd give him a 4. I'd give Lacazette a 4. But am I being unfair? Because I know he's been poor, but he did play well without scoring or assisting against Manchester United. He has scored in 2 big games this season. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He is our top goal scorer, and he did have 3 and 3 at a point. So while I think Laka's been poor, he's been cumbersome. You know, the playmaking hasn't been there. He's slowing down the counter. He's missing chances and the rest of it. Am I being fair to Lacazette to give him a 4, people? Mohamed El Nene's got a lot of 7s. He's got a couple of 8s. Someone gave him a 6. Partey's got an 8. Like I said, with Lacazette, people, am I being harsh? Because, like, again, Damien saying 4 for Lacazette, that's what I believe. But then Leon saying a 5 for Lacazette. So it's like, am I being harsh? He's our top goal scorer. We've got Nippon as well. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And big up to Nippon for obviously being a member of my YouTube channel. Make sure you're becoming a member, people. There's 3 different memberships. Make sure you've hit the like button. But am I being harsh? Because he's got a 5 there, you know, a 4 there, you know. Shut up, I mean, Evans put it there, man. Do you know his goals could have been tap-ins, my bro? But, you know, a goal's a goal. I can't really get, you know, I can't do anything about that. A goal's a goal. We have to be kind of fair in that regards. Curtis is back. Hey, they said you mentioned Mesut Ozil and then a madness happened.
Yo, bro, I don't know. My internet just kicked me out, bro. Apologies, man. Apologies.
I don't want to say
it. Bad of Mesut, man.
Mesut's been, yeah. You know how what he's been sanctioned against. But, you know, we mentioned Mesut. We was on Maitland-Niles. I know I jumped a bit ahead and we've got a lot of comments here as well. You know, Laka's getting a 2. Laka's getting a 2. You know, we've got a 4 that M said. Yardman has said it's a 4. What are you giving Maitland-Niles? Because I don't think
Maitland-Niles, it's a mad one because he hasn't really played that much, has he? And when he had a bad game against Liverpool, I can't give him a high rating, man. I don't think it's been a great season for him. Like maybe a 4 again, man.
4. Partey,
the Man U game, he was outstanding. I think 7's about where he's at, man. I can't go with the 9s and that yet because the other games we haven't been as good. But again, I think he needs better midfielders around him or a better system.
Facts. And
might give him Lacazette a 0, you know.
Bro, you missed it. Man said Ozil sent the Fortnite drillers for you, bro.
I'm telling you, man spoke about the Ozil. Internet just got locked off quick.
What? Swear you're gonna talk about my guy like that. Ozil live stream still. Yeah. Were you giving El Nene? I think I gave El Nene an 8, you know. I think in relation to what he's had to do, he's done all right for himself. Shouldn't be playing, shouldn't be a starter and things. But game in, game out, I don't think you've been terrible when we've lost. I think you've taken your chances the most when I remove my opinion. So for El Nene, I gave El Nene a 7 or an 8. I can't even remember.
I give him a 7. I give him a 7. Like you said, I think for his level, he's done well. I think the Man United performance was outstanding. I think Villa, he weren't great in that game. I give him a 7. I think he's improved for him. I still don't think he's the answer, but he's done well for him.
You know what? I'll take mine down to an 8. Curtis is playing devil's advocate and it's work. I'm putting my at 7. I think 7 is just about right.
Yeah.
Fair play. That one there is good. Joe Willock I gave him a 5. I don't really know for him. Really.
Yeah, nah. I mean, Europa League he's done well. But in the league, he hasn't really played.
Sean, bro, like that's like what are you? If Arteta, we'll never know if Arteta's not using you because he doesn't think your levels. That's fair play. But I'm looking at some of you boys to kick on now. Like whatever we say about Arteta, you know, he's a genuine option at least for this season and last. You know, he's starting ahead of Lacazette. I want to see Joe Willock. You know, even though Partey is the outstanding one, can you put pressure on his spot? Can you play with Partey? Because all the centre mid combinations, with all due respect to Joe, right now we're not saying Partey and Joe. Like we're saying you don't want Xhaka, but you're going with Xhaka or Ceballos or Xhaka and Ceballos. So he's just not he's just not in the talks. So I'd say a 5. Smith Rowe, we can skip past him and not a 0. He's had injuries and whatnot. Your friend Xhaka.
I mean, he hasn't played that much, has he? I just don't rate him. What do I give him? A 4 or 3? 4. I give him a 4. You know, I just don't think. I think Xhaka's time's up, man. I think in the summer you got to move him on.
I want to think that, and I think it's no coincidence you've taken Xhaka out of a big away game and we've got a performance. But saying that, I think Xhaka's an okay squad player, but I would like to move him on. I'd probably give him a 4, really and truly. You know, he's lost his place, deservedly so. He's not my cup of tea like that. But yeah, man, I think a 4. I 3 for me. I can't lie. When we get into the 3s and 2s, for me, we're looking at the Williams and them sort of man there. I think Williams, spoiler alert, William will probably get the lowest rated from me personally. I know he's got this, but I give him a 4. You give him a 3. Lacazette, and this is the one where man we're drilling him because, as I said, like before you cut out, I said for me, Lacazette, we're probably bordering on 3 and below because link up play, not been there. All the things we expect with Lacazette, it's not been there. But at the same time, done very good dog work against United. You know, he has scored against Liverpool, and I'm sure he's got another big game goal as well. I could be wrong. He's still our top goal scorer. So when I think he's been playing dead statistically, is a 3 and them things there too harsh on him. I was leaning towards a 4, but we're starting to, it's a 4 for me, but we're starting to look below that, man. He might cut a 5, he should be below it. What are you saying for Laka?
I'll give Laka a 4. Do you know what? Oh, it's bad because I like Laka, but that it's done, man. You got to look at with Laka. Liverpool away, 1-on-1, misses. Leicester at home, Tierney crosses it in. He closes his eyes, don't want to head it. The header against Aston Villa, simple, 7 yards out, puts it over. We could potentially be, we could be top of the league if it wasn't for Lacazette. You know, that could be 6 points. I'm giving him a 3. I'm giving him a 3, man. You've potentially cost us, and you're playing up front ahead of Aubameyang. So when you play ahead of him and then miss, I gotta be harsh on you. I'm being harsher on him
because you know
players were worse than him because I believe he's capable. He should be scoring them chances.
Yeah.
So Laka, I'm being harsh on Laka, man. I'm giving him a 3.
Cost me tomorrow to say a 5. I'm trying to save you, my guy, because Laka's my tug. Regardless of how crappy he's been, it's like you don't want to sell out. Like I know all of this, but it's like I still remember the player of the season. Like
I know, man. I know.
It's a 4 thing. It's a 3. It's a 5 thing. Yeah, man. Laka, you've been dead, man. You're declining, man.
Big time.
I have no allegiances to. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Williams a 2 for me, you know, and that 2 is literally for the 2 assists he grabbed against Fulham. For me, I think he's been dead. Premier League proven, seeing it, not looking like a threat. I cut you some courtesy like all the attacking players because of, you know, we've spoken about it throughout this vid. But bro, he's been dead, fam. Like 3 years. It's like long 3 years for us, fam.
Yeah, I give him a 2. I agree with you. The guy's been shocking. It's an inside job, man. Lampard
doing what Czech was doing. Liz.
Yeah. He's come to sabotage the thing, man. You know?
That is true. Captain Aubameyang.
He ain't getting high ratings, and this one hurts me, bro, because what good at Fulham, scored a penalty against United. What else has he done the rest of the season? Nothing. I give him a 4.
Just about, innit? And I'm cutting
for the penalty and that. Like, all right, you scored a big penalty, I'll give you a 4.
Just about. Look, people are saying Oba 4. I think for me, it's a bit like Lacazette. We could be bordering on, you know, the 3s and them things there. I don't want to say that to a bad man. Gonna cut him some courtesy because he's playing out wide and obviously make them excuses and say how good he's looked defensively. But the United game for me, and he is a victim of the system, Kevin. You're 100% right. He is a victim of the system. But for me, you go back to the United game, fantastic character to obviously score the penalty and whatnot. But I remember there was a chance. Lacazette, who's been poor in this game in an attacking sense, set him up. And Aubameyang tried to wrap his right foot through it. And I don't know if it's form. I don't know if he saw something else. But Aubameyang in his prime, I've seen him score all them goals. I jump up in the Emirates. It was atrocious. And I can't get that out of my head. I'm starting to believe it. Do we have to consider a future where Aubameyang isn't going to get back to that scoring? I think he is. But do we at this rate? Because I keep screaming, yo, it's Laka, man. It's Aubameyang, man. He's going to start scoring. He's been doing this, but there's always a first time for everything.
Yeah, man. You're right. You know, we got to hope that he's not finished completely, but we hope he's not on the decline because it happens with strikers, man. One summer they go away, they come back, they're not the same player. But I still think, as the guy said before, I think he is a victim of the system, man. If you're playing up front or out wide for this Arsenal team right now, you're gonna suffer, man. So I think Aubameyang will score goals again once we start creating, hopefully playing through the middle. I still think he'll bang goals in, man.
I think this is a good way of putting it. Aubameyang is a victim of the system. Lacazette is both poor and a victim of the system. I think that's true. He's not getting chances, but the minimum chances he's getting, he's not doing
taking them. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad the way it's worked out with Lacazette, man, because I was very excited when we signed him. It's just crazy how his goals have declined so much.
Bro, I don't know what's going on. Like, and I love, like, I can tell it's killing everyone to say this about Aubameyang. You know, everyone's getting onto him in the comments with a heavy heart. Pepe, you know, I think Pepe can get quite high rating. You know, I think Pepe can get quite high rating, bro. I think Pepe can get high rating. Like, he was poor against United City, but he's had 20 odd minutes. He came on and did he not score the winner
against United? He did well, yeah.
Fair enough, it's Europa League and it's not nothing to cry about, but Europa League he's done well with his opportunities he's been given. He didn't play against United. I'd probably give Pepe, I'd say a 6, you know, and well, maybe even a 7. And what, you know, I'll give Pepe a 7 just based on what he's had to do. Not that he's played in memorable games, not that he's set fireworks, just based on the minutes you've had, you've generally done all right. So I'd probably cut him a slack and give him a 7, like Subi said. But I understand all the 5s and 6.5s and
I give him a 6. I think he's done what he can with what he's got, really. You know, he's done like, yeah, there you go, 5 goal assists. Yeah, I give him a 6. I think there's a lot more to come, but I think, you know, the manager just, it's a strange one, man. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Just give the guy a run in the team. And then even if you don't want him, you can say, there you go. You lot was all moaning. I gave him 10 games and look, he didn't produce. I give him a 6. I think the guy's right because for a guy for 72 million, he's performed well in the Europa League against substandard teams. You know, none of them are even Premier League level. So, but he hasn't had a lot of game time in the Prem. I think Man City's the only game he started this season.
Yeah, you can't just throw a man in them sort of games, especially when you're the best and expect fireworks. It's not going to happen.
It's true. That's a tough one again because he just hasn't played a lot. There's a Europa League game the other week where he looked really good with Joe Willock. I can only give him maybe a 5. He just hasn't played. He hasn't played. It's not that he's played bad. I just haven't seen him on the pitch.
I'd give him a 5 as well. I think, we haven't seen enough of his injuries have hurt him. And I'm looking at Arteta a bit sideways now because, again, it always falls into if Willian isn't playing, why isn't Pepe? But you've got Nelson as well. Why aren't these man getting a chance ahead of Willian if he is fit? I mean, if Nelson is fit. So I'd give him a 5. What are you saying for Eddie? I'll give Eddie a 3, you know. I think he's there. Man, I can't lie. I think he's there with the man. I think
you led me down a dark path there because I was thinking 3, you know, but I was thinking, oh man, I wonder if Deluded's gonna be nice to him and give him a 5 or 6.
I cut him some. I feel sorry for the young man. Not seeing it from Eddie. Like the little chances he's getting, he's snatching at them, and I've seen him put them away at 23s. You know, he presses well and stuff, but the games are just passing Eddie through. And you know me, I love all of these young players. Man, are being harsh on Eddie, but we everyone's allowed an opinion. I think Eddie can be a squad player, but he's one of them. He could be a squad player, or if a 2025 is available, I'm trying to shot him, bro. He gets a 3.
I give Eddie a 3 as well, man. I don't see the hype around Eddie, man. I really don't. I
hope, you know, I want to be proven wrong, but I don't think Eddie's a Greenwood thing. He ain't got one of these rash. No. He's a squad like Welbs, and that's nothing to do. Nothing wrong with him. But like my man Gangster has said, I like Eddie, but what's his best trait? Because
Eddie's on some Chuba Akpong thing, man. He ain't on no Greenwood.
Is that, man? That's all Eddie wants to do.
Yeah, I like a bad boy celebration, and that's it.
I want Eddie to do it, but it's like all the things he was talked about in academy levels, he's not moving that prolific. Nah. You know, he's not being prolific. Shout out to him for the winner against West Ham, but he's not being prolific. He's snatching at his chances, man. Hopefully he improves. I think he can be a squad player for us, but man, it's a free thing, man. He needs to start showing a bit more, like Subi has said. Martinelli gets a 0, you know.
Yeah, he ain't played,
And then man, they're on loan. There's nothing else there, fam, really.
Yeah.
I know you got to do the school run, so I'm not even trying to keep you.
Yeah, and by the way, just while you say that, looking at them ratings, that's mad, isn't it? Like, how many players are we actually giving high ratings to there? Like 3 or 4 players at the most.
Yeah. Even that, because if I have fives is five is calm, but you shouldn't be having fives. Our lowest should be 6. There's not too many man performing. It's like for me, Saka and Gabriel are the only ones performing. I exclude Partey because he's not, he's not relevant like that yet. Big up El Nene for what he's been doing, but his thing is capped. Who else? Tierney, Tierney here and there's been all right, but apart from that, no one else has excelled. People have had moments. There's too many moments. Players like Bellerin goes through good or bad form. David Luiz, even Granit Xhaka. There's some weeks when he's playing consistently well, he looks like a boss. Other weeks, he's getting spanned, which is more often than not, man. It's a funky one, man. It's a funky one.
You know what? I just hope when we do the next show, like whenever, I hope we can talk about, beating Leeds, be positive. Aubameyang scored, you know what I mean? Something a bit more. This international break needs to finish. We need to get that Villa game out of our system, man.
Fam, I'm shook, man. And the best way to do that, even Arteta said that. He was like, oh, I wish we had a game next week or whatever, but you can't. So the players, they've got that safety from playing international football. Let's hope they've got more of a thingy, man, more maturity, man. But let them know where they can find you if they don't know already. So, I mean, it's clearly there.
It's there. But yeah, check out the channel, Curtis Shaw TV. Obviously, check out the Talk is Cheap show on AFTV. I know you're coming on there on Wednesday, bro. The AFTV, the rebirth of Deluded on AFTV, man. We've been
is back.
You remember back in the day, like G Unit, yeah, you used to get, 50 will have a little debate with someone, and then you're like, yo, is he gonna make a diss tune or is he gonna come back? And then you bring him back, like, you know what I mean? It's good to have you back in the group, man.
They need me, man. I should be on that thing more, fam.
You should, man. For real, you definitely should have a show on there, man. No doubt.
And what we aiming for a show on us two on your show on your channel. Sorry, this week.
Yeah, I don't mind. We can do maybe Friday if you want, and then maybe go on your show on Monday or something. Round up. We'll definitely pattern that, man. 100.
Yeah, just send me the StreamYard link and we'll do that, man.
Yeah, man.
Calm,
yeah, bless.
Calm, man, calm. And that's Curtis, everyone. Oh. Yeah, and Curtis has kept it moving, guys. I mean, he needs to go out and that. He's got, look after his family. He's got to go on the school run and things like that. I'm gonna stay here for a bit, though. I see you lot got some questions. Let's stay here for 10 minutes and see what's going on, people. Ratings for Arteta. 4. I think there's been some positives. Like I think it's a weird one because where I'm looking at the positives, there are negatives. Like when I look at the City and Liverpool games, I don't like to be it, and I don't think it's anything to praise people. But we didn't ship the amount of goals we typically ship against these sort of sides. Like I said, that shouldn't be our ambition, but we have to recognize that. So I think there's been that. I think defensively, there's still positive signs. I think Gabriel settled in well, but for me, it's a 4. I'm not seeing, in terms of a system, what he's trying to implement. I'm seeing a bit too much mix and match between the lineup. I'm not really seeing, and that ties into the first one. I'm not really understanding this season in relation to the player management. I know what I'm told at face value with Mesut Ozil, but we don't know that. I don't know what's happening with Pepe, and things like that. And there's plenty of other stories, the Saliba business. What's happening? Is he going to be part of this team if he's going out on loan? Why hasn't that happened? Arteta is also head coach now, and manager, sorry, not head coach. And we were told in blatant terms now that him and Edu alongside each other are going to do the transfer team. Now, I'm not blaming Edu for all of it. I mean, or Arteta, because Kroenke is above them. But I would have thought if I'm a manager now at Arsenal and I know there's a lack of creativity and I plan not to use Mesut Ozil, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to bring in a creative player of some sort to do that role, and I haven't seen, and I don't think he pushed enough for it, especially if you're going to not include Mesut Ozil. And I think there was an opportunity to do such. So I think he's obviously got to hold his hands up in that regards, people. So I give Arteta a 4. I give him a 4. But I back Arteta. Hopefully it's a 10 and 8 and them things there next season. But what else are you lot saying? Make sure you're hitting the like button, people. What do you make of Willian's attitude? I'm not convinced. The attitude thing, I'm not one to talk about because I don't know man's attitude in it. Willian could have went to the MLS and been the highest earned player, I believe, in their histories, the Athletic said. So, and he didn't do it. you know. So there is some hunger, and I do think regardless of the money, them man, they are professional athletes. And if I'm 32 years of age, you know, I'm in London, I can look after my business interests. These are my last few years as a professional footballer, so I'm going to want to make it. I think the attitudes there, I can't question Williams' application and whatnot. I mean, his attitude, I just think the application isn't there, people. He's just simply not being a good footballer, as fickle as it sounds right now. It's that simple. I know and I don't want to be the one to say it, and I know there's a lot of talk about what's it, Pepe's body language, and he's a bit passive and all of these things. Like I said, I don't necessarily care about that, but it does seem a bit hypocritical because I see Willian doing that. Again, that's not a point I'd want to see them harped on about, but that's just what I feel, man. Rate the fans. We can't rate the fans, rude boy, because we ain't been in the stadium, but I give our fans 11 out of 10 because look at us. There's 300 odd of you still here talking about football, and including myself talking about Arsenal. It's a madness, like, you know. So I have to give fans a 10 out of 10. We bash our club. We say we're not going to do this and do that. Me, you, and the rest of us, we was here talking about Arsenal all international break. We're talking about Arsenal all the way into the weekend. You know, hopefully we win. We lose, we're going to be talking about Arsenal on my channel and you lot in the comments. So fans get a 20 out of 10 because we buy the same lies. Our commitment levels is mad. This is one toxic relationship we still remain part of, people. It's a bit mad, man. Big up Curtis, as you said, man. Really and truly would have loved to have had longer with him. Triple X has said, love you guys. You criticize in the right way and where it's supposed to criticize. Thank you very much, my guy. And that's what it's about, man. I'm not, of course, it would be cool if I sat here and I just bashed Arteta and, you know, I might get views, I might get this and that, but I don't honestly believe it. And with that, like I said, I'll criticize Arteta where applicable, you know, where we can, you know, I'll try to use a smart word, didn't bang, but we use it in that way, in it, that sort of thing. And then attribute blame. Like if I sat here just speaking about Kroenke out, I'm sure I'd get more views, but I think there's deeper problems as to why Arsenal are not in the top 4 right now this season. Then that Kroenke's need to go. Arteta's done some good. He needs to learn from his mistakes. That's all I'm on, really and truly. I just care about Arsenal Football Club, man. Like I don't think Willian can help us. I think Willian shouldn't have been signed. You know, I have forced myself to like Willian, and I want to be proven wrong, but I think it's going to be a bad signing. But I'm an Arsenal fan. I want Willian to end up getting 10 goals and assists, no matter how unrealistic I think that is, because that's in my best interests, people. You know, if Willian gets more goals than, you know, somebody else of another team, you know how the agendas run. We get to run something. So it is what it is, man. It really is what it is. Big up everybody locked in. Please hit the like button. Please check out the membership page. DG, give us your score prediction versus Leeds. Want to place a wager, man? We'll talk more about Leeds towards the end of the week. On Monday, you know, Monday the 15th, I believe, of November. Disclaimer: 2-1 Arsenal, man, by the skin of our teeth. You know that will change come Friday, but I'm gonna try to be positive, man. Morning, bro. What country are you lot watching this from as well, man? Big up yourself. You know, it's 3:22 over here in the UK, but I suppose you're you could be in front of us, you could be behind us. So I don't know your time zone, but big up yourself for tuning into DG either way. And I think YouTube is doing me bad mind, people, because you lot are not getting the alerts for my lives. You lot are not being notified on bare things. You lot's engagement levels on my community tab are quite dead. But yeah, man, I think YouTube's doing me dirty, bare, man. Yeah, same level, really. I like both of them would play for me, you know. Both of those weird midfielders in that they're not gonna get mad goals or assists for me. They're both one or the other sort of thing. One's not clear of the other. I think technically and stuff. So Bios is obviously better, but I love Guendouzi. I got a lot of time for Guendouzi still, but it's the best of a thingy. Bad bunch, really. You know, I got time for Guendouzi. I would have loved to have kept Torreira, Guendouzi, introduced Partey, you know, pardon me, Arteta still could have brought back Ceballos if he wanted to. And that probably would have meant in the summer at the time that somebody like El Nene would have left. Obviously, he's doing his thing in hindsight, sort of thing. So I guess so. It's always the one, not saying you, but typically in football, it's always the one that's not involved that's the ones missed. Like, I'm pretty sure there's fans that don't have too much faith in Eddie and Nketiah and Lacazette, but, you know, and I do it myself. When Eddie's not there, Laka needs to play. When Laka's playing, bring on Eddie. When William's doing poor, bring on Pepe. When Pepe's doing poor, bring on this. It's always the man that's not involved. You know, I've spoken about bringing in Xhaka. When Xhaka isn't playing, where is my man? You know, David Luiz. When David Luiz is there, what going for Holding? How is Holding playing? It is what it is, people. It really is what it is. Big up everybody locked in, man. Look, South Africa, Arizona, Boston. Big up yourself. Another member, Nippon, obviously out there in the UK. Please tell me how you pronounce your name properly, man, because I don't think I am. And, you know, a name's the one important thing, most important thing we have in this world to a degree. If someone gets your name wrong, they don't necessarily respect you. Not that I'm trying to disrespect you, my dude, because I definitely applaud the fact that you're a member. And I think you're actually a gold member. So big up yourself. Truth's over here from Chicago, Cyrac. You know, we've got I think that's Kilburn. Big up the Killy Tugs. We've got Minnesota. I've got family out there. I've been there. Can't tell you the town and the specifics and that, but I've been there, as well as Florida. You know, big up all the Nepal Tugs. We've got Birmingham here. You know, we've got 4th Street's very own Patrick Vieira. He plays for my club. You know, same as always, you're right, see? Tuned in from Philly. You know, we've got Northwood. Big up yourself, Carlos, as well. We've got Luton Tugs. We've got Bermuda. We've got Johannesburg. We've got, again, Northwest Tugs. We've got UK. You know, it is what it is. Predicted lineup versus Leeds. I'm not too sure on that, my guy. Educated guess, without my opinion. 3 at the back. Leno, obviously, in goal. Rob Holding at centre-half. Gabriel at centre-half. David Luiz at centre-half. Kieran Tierney and Hector Bellerin as the fullbacks. Thomas Partey, if fit in midfield. Now, the pivot, the midfield pivot partner, the partner is where it gets a bit political, because I can see El Nene starting, as I think he would be all right. But obviously, you know, when you have Partey and El Nene, you don't really necessarily need El Nene unless it's a game where we're going to get outrun in midfield, which could happen, to which Xhaka could come back in. You know, I'm not necessarily with that, but Xhaka could come back in because he does a bit more with the ball or tries to at least. Or you could go with the man we spoke about earlier in Danny Ceballos. So that's probably where it gets a bit political. Educated guess would say potentially an unchanged lineup. I'd say El Nene and Partey there. And I guess that just leaves the front men. And I think it will remain the same of Lacazette, Aubameyang. Something tells me Pepe will start. I'm sure. I have a feeling Pepe will start, but I think Arteta, he's no idiot. He knows the fan sentiment right now isn't probably positive around Willian, and he's probably gonna, you know, stick with Willian. So maybe an unchanged lineup, in my opinion, there's a good chance. The one thing I'm nervous about, not nervous, but I'd say the only things I could see changing is a midfield partner and obviously a winger. But saying that, Arteta's full of surprises. Who would have thought going into a game against City he would drop David Luiz? Obviously, Luiz played with the injury. Who would have thought Xhaka would have been dropped for Man United away? You wouldn't have thought this. So he all throws up spanners in the works. You could even see a 4 at the back. Who knows, sort of thing. We don't know, man. Big up Bermuda, man. Where's my JA Tugs, man? Jamaicans are letting me down. They're normally coming in abundance, man. You don't big up yourself from Dallas. I understand what Arteta's trying to do, but I don't understand why he's trying to do that. You know, to a degree, we need to play to our strengths. And, you know, at least until you sign better defenders, as Curtis said, we're going to be very top heavy. You know, let's meet in the middle. We have improved defensively. There is a bit more toughness about us, but let's free the shackles. Remember, attack is one of the best forms of defense. You cannot, why we didn't have, you know, Leeds gave Liverpool and City tougher times regardless of the results, because fundamentally they had a goal. Second, Liverpool was a crazy game, but you look at the second half, because Leeds was sitting back there in the first half against City at their place at Ellen Road, and then they brought on subs. I think Pandava came on and they had a goal. You know, Aston Villa, again, the Liverpool game was crazy, but they would not have scored 7 goals if they thought, let's sit back and respect Liverpool. They thought about the threat they posed, they went and had a goal. Arsenal is not Liverpool or City, but if they sat back and respected us, they might have ended up like Sheffield United or West Ham. They didn't. We had a goal. In fact, even West Ham, to credit to them, you know, Antonio went close in that. So it all depends what you're looking at, really and truly. We got all my Indian Tugs. Come on. What other questions you lot got, people? I know I said I was going to bust out. We are going to bust out in a sec. Arteta said this is a 3-year plan. Do you think he's moving too slowly? Do you think fans will stick it out for him? We can be very fickle. You said it. Fans are fickle. Fans will always say, give young players time. The manager needs time. But you're forgetting football brings out the primary emotions in a man and a woman. Us that are on my channel, I'd like to think we preach balance. You know, we praise and critique, but we're all victim of it. And, you know, it's all about seeing the process. Like I said, if I could personally see the building blocks, I would still be frustrated. But like last season, I could say, all right, cool. Man, seeing what Arteta is trying to do. I don't see a way of playing. I don't see a real evolution of tactics. I don't see an evolution of our defensive tactics. I don't see a plan for a single player, even Gabriel and Saka. You know, where is Saka's best position? Where are you looking to develop him in? He's doing everything, and there is a risk of burnout, I guess, in terms of mental burnout. Gabriel, what are we trying to do? What's his partner long term? Clearly, it's not going to be Saliba for this year. You know, is it best it being David Luiz? Should we find a bridge player? What's going on at right back? Because one single player that can play at right back is not excelling. So I'm not really seeing enough planning in terms of individuals and how we develop them. Collectively, I'm not seeing it either. So as much as I believe Arteta, you know, it's about the building blocks. You want to see, like I said earlier, evidently I wanted to see more of what his sort of mark on the team is. This could be his mark. This could be what he's doing. But I would have thought that, you know, I do think to a degree Arsenal are kind of writing off this season because I keep hearing language like planning for the summer of 2021 is well ahead. Now, football's a fickle game. Managers lose their jobs. But if they're doing a planning and Arteta is manager now, not head coach, and he's got more of a transfer plan, is too much going to be affected this season? Obviously, it all depends on the manner. If we're losing week in, week out, sentiment can change. But yeah, man, we've got Singapore in the building as well. We've got Tottenham, you know, just up the road. Where's all the 4th Street tugs? We've got Cyprus, come on. We've got Stamford. Is that Stamford in America, Connecticut? Or is it Stamford Hill up the road? I don't know, but big up wherever you are, man. Big up Jaden. Come on, Anthony, man. The Borough of Brent. We've got New Jersey, I think. More Northwest. We've got Enfield. Come on, we're getting closer to home now. I don't think Arteta said we're going to win the Champions League in 3 years. Maybe he did, but I didn't hear that. I would have certainly made a video on that. I don't think he did. Pick up the Stonebridge tugs. You know, at least we don't, but typically Arsenal do, and touch wood, things can happen very quickly in football. I swear an ex-Arsenal staff or medical staff went there as well to Liverpool. I'm not running no agendas. I'm not saying stuff, but is it a coincidence? I guess 3 years. I guess a year on year improvement. Like in the ideal world, we get top 4. The year after that, consistent top 4, and then try and push on above that, man. I guess. Come on, big up yourself. Arteta out. I guess it's down to Arteta to prove you wrong. Results is currency in the same way minutes are currency. And as you said, football's a fickle business. At the end of the day, results buy you. I was saying we should have sacked Unai Emery towards the end of last season because he bottled those last 8 games. But the results and the math that went behind it, you know, he missed out on top 4 by a point. That's what saved him. And obviously in hindsight, he was gone. But it does buy you time. Yeah, man. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, and there's a lot of JA man in the chat. So big up you lot. You must not be on a talking thing. And obviously, people, you know, especially with the flooding and whatnot going on in Jamaica right now, please stay safe. And, you know, we need to get some donations to charities going and all of those things. I've donated quite a lot to charities by my own pocket, really. And I'm going to continue to because it's sad, man. My beautiful island, we're going to get through this, man, trust me. But moving forward, come on, people. You said, what is our best 11? I personally don't know our best 11, but if you're asking me for my own opinion, I'm going 4 at the back. Leno picks himself, as does Kieran Tierney. Right back for me, Maitland-Niles. I know there's question marks in relation to Maitland-Niles and playing as a right back, but I'd say Maitland-Niles at right back. Centre half, I'm going with Gabriel. And I would like to play Saliba, but realistically, if I was Arteta game in, game out, Saliba would be part of my team. He'd be my 3rd choice. But right now, just until he adapts and until Gabriel adapts a bit more, I'd say David Luiz would be my sort of bridge player sort of thing. I'd be looking to kind of rub him out and not playing my guy Rion, but for now, that would be it. So the 2 Brazilians at centre half in Gabriel and David Luiz, right back Maitland, left back Tierney, behind them Leno in goal, 3 in midfield. Thomas Partey for me. I need midfielders. I'd say Thomas Partey. If a game where we should be on top, I would say Thomas Partey. I'd actually go with Ceballos because I don't feel I'm, apart from Partey, I'm not fully convinced on a midfield partner for him. But I would go with Ceballos just because I know he hasn't been good this season, but he looks to try and pass the ball forward. And I think when you've got El Nene and Partey, they're both, not that they're similar, but I don't think you need both of them unless it's a game for that. So I'll go with Dani Ceballos, assuming I want to be on the front foot. Dani Ceballos, Partey. If Ozil was registered, at least until January, and we can buy someone, I would use Ozil in the 10 role. But for me, I'd go with Willian in that role. You know, I know he's been frustrating, but there ain't nothing else. If we're not going to use Smith Rowe and them man there, I'll go for now, see what Willian can do for me in that 10 role. So I'll go with Willian. And that just frees up the front three. You know, you lot know me, man. It's Saka on the left, it's Aubameyang through the middle, and it's Pepe on the right. You know, that's it for me, really. And maybe if we didn't win the FA Cup, he wouldn't have as much slack. I don't know. Do you feel that Arteta moves like he has achieved so much in the game as a manager? I feel he's moving like a great manager. I don't think so. He's very humble in what he says, and he's got a lot to learn. I wouldn't necessarily say so. So, yeah, man, we've got Lincolnshire in the building. Make sure you're smashing the like button. People been here for over 2 hours, man. Come on, man. Look what I'm giving you, lot. 2 hours out of my time, and it means the world that I'm speaking to you, lot, and that you lot are actually interacting for once, man. It's decent. We've got Ealing. We've got Highbury. What I'd give to live in Highbury, man. What I'd give. Just down the road. Just down the road. Missing out some stuff. We've got, come on. We've got Sweden. We've got Melbourne. We've got Thailand. Jesus Christ, man. We've got hella things, man. The things that he said about how he needs time and all of that, I did see that. I think I spoke about already, and I hear that, but it takes me back to what I said in that he does need time to implement, but at the same time, you can critique and praise what he's doing along the way. It doesn't mean you're calling for him to go out. I'm not Arteta in or out. I'm just, is he the right manager for Arsenal? Right now, I don't think it's a thing where I have to scream and shout, get the manager out and all of these sort of things. I believe in the manager. I think he's shown me some positives. Equally, there's still some concerns. So if he rights those wrongs and carries on how he did last year, you know, improving us defensively, doing all right in big games, ending it with an FA Cup run, you know, with the trophy, I'm cool. You know, this is his first, like I told you, look, the honeymoon period out, the Wolves are out. Not to say I know everything, but everything you hear me talking about, especially in an attacking sense, I know those of you that have been rocking with me from the jump, you can go back and find videos. I've been saying these same things consistently. And when we was getting away with it, when we was, what, I swear at a point we went 10 or 13 games unbeaten. I can't remember. People were just saying you should shut up, you're negative and things. I'm always going to say what I feel and what I see. I want to be wrong. You know, it's in my best interest for Arteta to be a success. I mean, do you get the vibe that Arsenal Football Club want to win a league title? Do you even get the vibe that Arsenal's Football Club want to be in the Champions League? Based on how the players speak, I get it from them. Based on the manager, I'll give him that. I get it from him. But do you get that from Kroenke, the ones that actually make the decisions? These things will what's the right word? It just whittles down. If we wanted to be winners, the top would make that pressure known. You look at Chelsea. I can't say that woman's last name, but Marina or Maria, whatever her name is, forgive me for mispronunciations. When she goes for deals, she's getting the best for Chelsea. She's doing excellent. She's very known for, I know she's a female, but she's in a healthy way. She's letting her nuts hang. She's doing great business for them. Why? Because she knows that she has to be at the top of her game because she wants to be the best in her role and do her little bit to help Chelsea move, because the man that employed her at the top, he only wants excellence. I don't know what I'll go on for Lampard, but Lampard knows he has to deliver. You've been given money. You've got to pattern up, you know? So I wish we could say the same about Arsenal. I wish we could go into a way where a season where the tools are there and I could just look at Arteta. It is what it is. But Arteta is going to have to learn fast, learn from his mistakes very quickly if he wants to be a success, people. And like Carlos has said, man, you know, you just can't be that stubborn, man. You know, we've got people being childish. We can't, you're right, see, we can't score goals. We can't score goals. Man said, would you take Klopp as your manager? Would Klopp take us? Of course I'll take Klopp. I don't mind 3 at the back in the same way I don't mind 4 at the back. I'm not saying I'm happy with playing 3 at the back, but it's about the intention and the invention. As a football club, we don't want to go forward and score goals. So it doesn't matter what formation or variation of it we play, we're always going to struggle. You know, I know City's not the City they used to be, but when they play 3 at the back, we don't talk about several things because they want to go forward. I think when you've got 3 at the back and you have no real players that can manipulate the ball and create chances, and there's the imbalances among the whole squad as there is, you know, it creates problems for us, sort of thing. So that's my thoughts on that. Saka should be our left mid. I can't find your, where is it? Someone said Saka should be our left mid. I can't find it, but it's fact he should. Hamid has said, geez, you're still live, respect the grind. That's what we've got, man. We can only work hard if we want anything. I think Reece Nelson's a bad boy, but I think he needs to do, you know, he needs to show a bit more consistency and just stay fit. Like, come on, man. Not even at 250. Been here for almost 2 hours. It's a madness. I think he could, but nah, man. I just want people played in their right roles, man. I'd be more inclined to play Pepe up front and them shouts there than in the 10 sort of role, really. Guys like Pepe, I think right now, just play in your normal role, do your thing. I think only with the Sakas and these sort of man football intelligence, not saying Pepe isn't, but football intelligence is on another level. You can play around. You know, I think them sort of man there, you just need to keep them in their actual roles, man. We got Wembley in the building. I would love to see him get a chance. He's developing quite well. He's turned 17. I would love to see him get a chance, but you know, it's down to Arteta, I guess. Come on, let's get the likes up, man, people. What else have we got? Yeah, that's her name. Apologies. Does he want to qualify for the Champions League? If you want to qualify for the Champions League, you bring in, if not Aouar and Partey, 2 midfielders of that skill set, because you could see that's what Arsenal needed, a minimum, to do anything, you know. Bloody, I have heard the Mustafi rumours. Don't worry, a video is coming. Trust me, after this stream, by the end of the day, you'll see something patterned up, man. Come on, big up Curtis. I know he's left us, but it is what it is. Somebody's asked a good question. Let me find that. Feel positional football Arteta is implementing only works when you have superior players. I must admit, I do think that to a degree, because when you see things like he tries to do with the Willian in the 9 role and other little things he's done, and Ed Ketia like half winger, half striker, I get it. And that's why I said in my vid, you can do them things when you've got Raheem Sterling, you can do the false 9. You can't do it with this bunch of players, and that's for Arteta. He needs to adapt to the level of player he has, which is why I think he's got such a handbrake defensively. But like I said at the start, attack is the best form of defense. He's got to improve us defensively, which he has done. He's got to continue for those building blocks, but he's still got a set pace. And like I said, with the examples of Aston Villa getting results, Leicester getting results, you know, against people this year, you've got to offer a threat going forward. It's no coincidence that none of these attacking players are excelling. So I think that's that, man. And that's the double whammy for Arsenal, you know, both are learning on the job, you know, and that might be, you know, when you look at it, they're young, they're growing, they could be here for a significant future. That's great if it works. If it doesn't, it looks like a long period. Who the fuck is that? Big up from Bristol. It's Liverpool, innit? And I think this has brought the story up that Liverpool need to improve their depth. You know, they've got a quality starting 11, but it's now a case of depth. And I guess Liverpool fans are hoping their owners get such people a taste of depth. So I'd say, you know, they need depth. At a club like Liverpool, you've always got to expect to compete. Like if I'm Liverpool, you want 4 centre-halves of minimum level. Like obviously, I'm not saying everyone has to be Van Dijk, but, you know, everyone's a competent defender. You know, football, he's out of sight, out of mind. They need to buy someone. But I know they've been linked with Upamecano and they've been linked with Koulibaly. I mean, you know, it could put pressure on the spot, but you sign for a club like Liverpool that's won the Champions League and the Premier League, you should expect such. And to be fair, whether they go for a bigger name or a lesser name, they need another centre-half, people. So it is what it is, man. I mean, Mark, I can't speak for other YouTubers, but all I can do is first and foremost say thank you for your kind words. And I just try, this is how I am. So if you see me animated, it's because I'm genuinely animated. If you see me like this is how I am. So it means a lot, man. And either way, those people that do the aggressive and intimidating thing and the shouting thing, you know, there's different strokes for different folks. There's somebody out there for everybody. There's something out there on YouTube for everyone. Would you take Dele Alli or Lingard? If I'm given a choice between those two, Lingard, man said Lingard, Dele Alli, I'm bugging out, Dele Alli, but don't really want to see anyone. But I want to see Martinelli through the middle, my guy. I would like to see Balogun, but until he's exposed to first team, I think fans, not you, but fans in general, should be easy with the conclusions being drawn, man. I hope he does, but I think he's gone to Germany. Big up yourself, Dara. Come on. You think Arsenal... 1 second, people. I'm not going to lie to you lot. I'm going to put my phone on charge. I'm going to answer a couple more questions and I'm going to keep it moving. But I'm going to put my phone on charge real quick. I'm still here, as you lot can see. I'm still here. And you lot are about to see my shorts. I know a lot of you probably thought I was in my boxes. A bit mad, but I'm not. Christian has said, you think Arsenal are going to get back in the top 4 Champions League or win the Europa League? I think we've got more chance of winning the Europa than mounting the consistency required to get Champions League football. Can you see Arteta being able to integrate Martinelli, Saka, Pepe and Aubameyang into the starting 11? I do think you can, but at the same time, I do like the fact that there's healthy competition. Somebody has to miss out. Across a 38-game period, you need different sort of combinations and things to play around with. You know, we can't just, unless you're going to do a thing where you've got Liverpool's where more so Salah and Mane, but obviously Firmino was like the butter between the meat in the sandwich and the bread, sort of thing. It was like a sandwich. You had the butter, you had the meat, and you had the bread. I'd describe Liverpool's front three. And, you know, Firmino was the bread that held it all together, and you had the two fillings. But unless you're going to do a thing like that, I do think you need other options. And you could argue Liverpool, you know, with Jota, with them trying to go for Werner, with them trying to get Fekir once upon a time, Klopp recognises that, yeah, front three is good, but I need different options and I need pressure for spaces. Big up Xander there in Yard. You said, do you think it's kind of funny how we say Arteta keeps chopping and changing, but we are mad when he played the same 11 versus United and Villa? I don't think fans in particular were vexed at the lineup he played against United and Villa, and I wasn't speaking for myself. So no, I wouldn't say such, my guy. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. It was a banger. I mean, if Leicester keep doing what they're doing, you can't rule anyone out. The Premier League's going through a crazy season. Would you take Jamie Vardy? Yeah, because we're not scoring no goals. I think they will. They kind of have to. They're down to their bare bones. I think they'll bring in a centre-half. No clue, my guy. But if that is true, we need to get onto him. Jude Bellingham's going to be a star. No, I don't. I just think there's no balance, Mark. I think there's a lack of consistent balance between recognizing, yeah, the manager might have got his tactics wrong, but yeah, the players, it's always either or. Typically, when we win, it's all the manager. When we lose, it's all the players, when it should be balanced. Of course, there's some games you look at it like Chelsea at home last year. Arteta set us up in the best way. The players threw it away in the last 15. But then I look at games we played this year and we've lost. You know, the setup, and maybe not so much the setup in terms of the formation, but the implementation and the game plan hasn't been there. And that's down to the players and also down to Arteta. You know, and in terms of creativity, you know, that's a byproduct of Arteta's coaching or lack of attacking coaching based on what I'm seeing as a humble fan so far. It would be very long, but fortunately they did, it, and that's recognizing the depth. And that Greek Greek left back, he's got a chance to show Klopp that, yo, I can take Robertson's place, will be used. And you'd imagine if Robertson's fit or gets fit, there's not going to be too many opportunities to do that again. So he's going to need to do such. Wouldn't mind Willian at 10, as I've previously said. And like you've said, man, at least play better football. Simple as it. All be shut up about. That's it for me as well, Luke, man. You know, if Lacazette is a plan B striker, he's used in the squad, he can do up super sub now because that's all he's showing me he can be. If he accepts that, fair play, happy days. But is what it is, man. Is what it is in that regards. Do you think Arsenal will sign anyone in January? My G, I hope so, but I can't tell you. I hope we bring in a creative mid. But when I hear Ornstein say we're well ahead of our planning for summer 2021, does that mean we're going to buy somebody in January at a time where, you know, players might be reluctant to move if they are European because you've got the Euros? Obviously, people in January know you're pressed for time and try to charge you more. Obviously, in this COVID environment, things might change, but I don't think we're going to sign someone maybe on loan. You know, did we sign Denis Suarez in January on loan? I could be wrong. I don't know. We signed Kimi Kallström in loan. Probably be more of that. But it is what it is, man. On that note, though, man, I'm going to get out of it, though, man. We've been here for 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'm quite tired now. I'm going to take a rest before I have to upload and bring out some more vids. But on that note, people, it's been a pleasure. As I said, if you haven't done already, please hit the like button. Please check out the memberships on my channel. In fact, while you're watching this vid, there should be a tab saying join. Please make sure you like the video. One like helps me further get, you know, play the YouTube algorithm and get seen by more people. And then the DG Nation keeps growing. You've seen the countries that are saying they're here, people. You know, I've been saying Canada, Singapore, Thailand, America, England, Jamaica, Bermuda, Serbia. I've seen, you know, bare different countries. It's amazing, man. Just make sure you hit the like button. Like I said, I'll be back soon. But on that note, I'm out of here, man. Ems, big up yourself, a real member. On that note, though, I'm out, people. Big up everyone that's tuned in. I'm out. Hopefully, I've provided you lot with some quality. Big up to Curtis for coming through also.